It's me, Xbox 448.
Welcome everybody to the CrossFire podcast, where you're in for a show. It's either going to be one hell of a show or a shit show. One or the other, you're in for it. So listen, this is a great night. It is absolutely E3 weekend kickoff. I've got an amazing, amazing cast with me here tonight. I mean, I don't like to mention who the special guests are going to be for obvious reasons, but nonetheless, it is worth your time to be here. I want to do a very quick
special guest.
Well, except for Xbot. Xbot always makes the intros about 20% longer, but that's all right. It's all right. It's part of the show. I'm going to go through really quick. We'll start with Crap Gamer. Crap, welcome to the show.
What's up? Crap Gamer here. I'm just going to go ahead and say what's up and then let you get to everybody else.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We got Alan Walsh. Alan, how are you tonight?
I'm doing really well. It's good to be on the show. Also, viewers, drop a like on the podcast.
Thank you for saying that, Alan. And I didn't even pay him for that, folks. I just want you to know that. That was free. And then I've got my buddy, Senora Bombastic Boom. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. This panel's great, and E3 should be great for everyone.
I can't disagree with you. And then Xbot 448, occasionally confused for 844. How are you doing tonight, buddy?
What's up, man? Destiny 2. Freaking Year 2. Take my money. Take my money.
Stop.
Right? Let me go to my guest there. Let me start with All Day, because All Day is just he's probably the funniest guy on YouTube. All Day, how you doing tonight, brother?
Doing good, man. Happy E3, and everything's delayed.
Yes. Part of the E3, brother. It's part of E3.
I heard E3 itself was delayed. Are we still?
It was.
Oh, okay. All right. So
I heard we already missed the first day. The official Twitter for E3 tweeted out, "Great first day."
They what? They really
People
did.
are still sitting up like, huh?
Yeah. I was like, damn, I missed the first day of E3. What happened? Man, come on. Where's those megatons?
This is that 20% intro thing I was talking about, folks.
Yeah.
Then I've got my buddy Fonzarelli. Fonz, welcome back to the show. It's been a while. How you been?
Jay Fonzarelli here. That's it. Go on.
We're going next. Rand Al Soft Serve, which I don't know. For some reason, you're just Rand to me. Rand, welcome back to the show, brother. How are you?
Hi, Cold Eastwood here. Thanks for having me.
That was a very soft sounding cold. Very cool. And then our special guest tonight, very, very honored to have him. He's been leaking things for you.
He's a faucet.
He's here. He is here. He is the faucet. Jez Corden. Jez, welcome, buddy. How are you?
Hello.
You built him up too much. That's what happened.
Anyway, how'd you get this Jez guy? He's got an exclusive contract with me.
He had to wake him up.
I woke Jez up. I actually brought him to New York. There was a lot of bourbon and a hot lamp. Listen, all right, let's get into it, folks. Here it is. We're talking E3. I want to start with good news, and then we'll kind of get into what All Day was talking about. The good news is Microsoft is rumored to be acquiring Playground Games. Now,
my ass.
Well, listen, I've got to just stand. Listen, I'm trying to be credible, damn it. And here's the thing. So me and Crap were having a conversation. He says to me, hey, this is definitely going down. This is what I'm hearing, blah, blah, blah. He goes, well, Mooch, you don't sound excited. I said, listen, it's not that I'm not excited. I think it's a great move. I just thought I thought this was 3 years ago. So I am very excited. I'm going to turn it over first to Jez. Jez, this is it happening?
Dude, I don't know. I have the same information that everyone else has about this.
So, yeah.
No, this is all personal opinion. This is not Jez was sitting in a conference room, folks, by the way. This is just, I mean, we think it's happening.
Sounds to me like somebody's not allowed to talk about it. So
no, seriously, I don't have this on the NDA or anything. It's like the information came out. For those who don't know, the information came out publicly because I don't know, UK companies have to report on hirings and stuff or something. I don't actually know how it works. Maybe I should because it's the UK, but I don't. But there's basically a council website which showed that Microsoft's acquisitions guy had now been appointed to Playground Games board of directors, and then Reset Era sleuths deduced that it was the same guy who was on the board for LinkedIn, Rare, Lionhead, and other companies that were acquired. So it's kind of seems like a bit of a smoking gun, would you say, guys?
Well, yeah, they put this guy.
Twitter though.
Basically, they put this guy in charge of companies that they're going to acquire during the transitional phase of that, and so it's a thing. It's happening. It's not anything else. It's 100% that. Lock it in. Lock that in as much as we're getting.
What else? I'm more crap on this. I believe it's happening. I've heard some whispers about it happening. To be honest, I've been hearing different things about it throughout the year. I think with Playground, it's a really interesting subject, but at the end of the day, they've only made Xbox exclusive. All their titles have been made in collaboration with Turn 10, and I think it just makes sense.
I mean, of course. I mean, you don't get rewarded for putting your shoes on the right feet. So, I mean, it should have happened. So.
I mean, it's a good thing if it goes down, and we all really think it's going down. But I'm kind of with Mooch here. This is something that, even though it's great news, it's something that at least I expected at some point in time. I guess better later than sooner. Or
well, you guys are a bit more optimistic than me. I thought for sure this was going to end up a BioWare situation, where EA possibly buys Playground because Playground's really making fantastic games. EA needs a company to make they make Burnout games, and their Burnout games have sucked lately. So I thought, man, do you
think though another publisher would want to buy Playground when? And don't get me wrong here, I'm not discrediting the studio at all. I love them, but you have to remember they've only made the Horizon series in collaboration with Turn 10 on an engine that they collaborated on Turn 10 on. Do you think that excites publishers enough, or do you think that might kind of draw them away from it?
Here's the thing, though. I think you're right. I think they tried to shop that RPG before it got turned into Fable, and I think that they weren't finding any luck. And then Phil was like, hey, turn that into Fable and you got a deal. Right.
Or maybe he's seen the progress in the game, is really, excited about it. And he said, you know what, we got to lock this down before anybody else scoops it up.
Or there could have been intelligent people that go, hey, Phil, what happens if Amazon swoops in and buy these guys? What happens if EA buys these guys? If they truly are making Fable and Forza, those are two first-party franchises, and they could knock it out of the park. Obviously, Forza Horizon has been a godsend to Xbox. If not for the Horizon series, I think that their first-party lineup would be even bigger of a joke at this point. So those are class developers. Each game they've made has been better than the last. They opened a second studio. They hired people that have worked on Metal Gear and all kinds of Witcher, GTA, all kinds of great open world games. So they've got developers with pedigrees. They got two teams, and I think that it makes sense. It's going to be cheaper for Microsoft in the long run to own this developer that can work on Fable and Forza Horizon games. By the way, the rumor was that their Forza Horizon contract was up after this one.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to see more Horizon games not made by Studio Gobo, then this is the one that, this had to happen. So.
Well, what do you guys think about that? I mean, realistically, what Crack just said is right, but ultimately Microsoft does another move where everyone's like, well, they had to get him. I think they pay top dollar to get Playground at this point.
Yes.
And probably also, we talked about this on Breakfast
worth
with
every fucking penny.
Absolutely, crap. Absolutely.
It is worth it. It is worth it.
They had Microsoft bent over the barrel in a sense, and they also were able to come probably to terms of their own hiring and firing process. Do you think maybe that was the negotiation?
Here's the thing. They had said that they liked their independence not too long ago. So as you say, Mooch, money talks.
Yes, sir.
And obviously Phil walked in there with a checkbook and walked out with
of course
probably
they like their independence. They make the best game Microsoft has.
It's true. Well, yeah.
Now they walked out. And people are going to be
sad.
Here's the thing with Microsoft, right? People love to hate on Microsoft. So they'll be like, they're going to turn them into Rare. They're going to turn them into Lionhead. They're going to do this. Like discounting totally that Phil, you love the guy, hate the guy, cut the fat, cut the bullshit. If you weren't producing, he got rid of you. And that's the bottom line. Now the ones that are in there, they get stuff done. Yeah, they're having trouble with Crackdown 3. But when you look at like Turn 10 and Playground Games, they get their shit out religiously.
They also don't miss deadlines.
Every 12 months.
Yes.
Every 12 months they have a title out. Now, yeah, I think this could go really well for Microsoft. I hope it does. Playground have done an amazing job of building up their teams over the last few years. Like the employees they have, it ranges from world-class talent to graduates from university, and all these people are super talented and
they're fighters, man. They want to put out the best. I'm not sure if I can mention this, but I was talking to somebody and they were like, when they heard years ago when they heard Drive Club was going to have clubs, they upped their clubs themselves in the Forza Horizon to really kind of rub it in. And that was also, I think, the same guy who took the stage and said, Forza Horizon glorious 1080p at a time when Xbox wasn't getting these 1080p games, right? And I remember watching that E3 thinking, yeah, he's sticking it to him. You know what I mean? Like that game just totally shit all over Drive Club, you know?
Yeah.
And Drive Club was supposed to be this social racing game, and Forza Horizon wasn't. And Forza Horizon beat Drive Club in every aspect, you know? And it was so bad, such a slaughter on the stage. Sony pulled their Drive Club presentation that night and didn't show it off. So again, man, you want those kind of people working for you, and I like that.
I think for Playground for me, and first of all, I'm also doing a sound check. People in the chat were saying I don't sound. Is my microphone all right?
It's perfect now, dude. Just
okay.
Sound a little echoey. Yeah.
Okay, my apologies earlier. The thing is, listen, here's my thing. I'm very vocal about this, and I know we have Alan here, and I love having Alan's expertise on the Forza brand. I'm not a Forza fan myself personally. So the acquisition of Playground, as much as I think it's something Microsoft needed to do, I'm more excited about the alternate studio they have that we don't know about. And it's also, in air quotes, is rumored. You know, we don't know. Nothing's up. They haven't come out and said they're doing Fable. We haven't heard any of this. But, I mean, I want to actually turn it over to Rand. Rand, when you heard this kind of stuff, what was your take on it? I mean, I know you love Forza Horizon 3. I mean, you gave it just short of a 10. I mean, you love the damn thing. Were you pumped, or were you kind of like, yeah, this is a given? Like, wow, we locked down for Forza. We had it.
I mean, you can look at it. You can look at it a couple different ways. I look at it as more just tangible evidence that finally they're going to build first party. They've been saying it for some time now. Phil's been saying it for 4 years, and there's never been any actual proof of it outside of maybe some hires for Rare and some more people for 343. So I see it as that. I see it as like, okay, now we're about action, buying Playground, adding 400 developers, having the 2 studios, the stuff with San Diego. And I'm kind of like what Crap said, like, I think this is more preventing a situation down the road where imagine Fable comes out and it's a critical and commercial success, and suddenly EA and Activision and Sony are like, maybe we would like to work with them, similar to the BioWare situation. Remember that back during the OG Xbox 360 era? They only
could have had KOTOR and Mass Effect.
Right. Like, even though they worked on Jade Empire, they worked on KOTOR, they did Mass Effect, and then Microsoft didn't buy them when the opportunity. EA did, and you lost that. So I kind of see it as that scenario where they're kind of protecting the future, getting a great developer, because that is what they are, and then preventing somebody else, you know, from taking that developer away from them. Yeah. But it's also evidence that, hey, we're actually doing what we said we were going to do and buy studios and build up first party. But on the flip side, there is something to be said about does this really do anything for the end Xbox user? Because Playground Games has only ever made Xbox games. So in that scenario, nothing changes for anybody on Xbox. It's not like Microsoft went out and bought Rockstar, or Microsoft went out and bought
that's where I was coming
another
from,
studio.
Man.
It's like nothing changes for any Xbox fan because they're just getting the same games they were always going to get.
But check this out, guys. When
we continue our series, though, I think.
When it comes to Playground, you see Horizon is taking over. Motorsport was the king, and Horizon, because of the wider kind of like fan base or whatnot, let's be honest here, it's going to take over. It's gonna do better. It's really growing. So like it would make sense for them to grab them now. They haven't had a really great history this generation when it comes to second party deals. You know, having like independent developers, third party developers working on exclusive games for the platform. So I also think this is just a case of, you know what, now Phil has the money, you know, with everything that was put in to getting the Xbox One X out and all that good stuff. You know, games took a hit there, but now he's got that wallet, you know, with the little window sign that says Microsoft. Well,
you know what? I like what you're saying. You kind of open up a discussion all day real quick. I want to get your take on it. And the reason I brought all day and Fonz are kind of like, you know, they're not on the Xbox train as much as a lot of us are. So I thought it would be great to actually get all day. When you hear this kind of acquisition happen, right? Are you like, okay, now wait, we've been hearing for about the past 6 months, the wallet's opening. But like we're sitting here for 6 months and we're like, so what's coming out? Moth? Nothing's happening. So now you see an acquisition of this stature. Do you think that maybe this is something where you say, okay, look, games aren't going to come out this E3, but in 2 or 3 from now, if they keep acquiring studios at this rate, where you have Playground, hopefully this other one, in whether it be San Diego or Santa Monica, wherever they're going to open that other one, and they grab one more, you go, well, now wait a minute. Now these guys are actually contenders. What was your take on it?
I mean, they're just building for next gen. So this, that's my take on it. But I do think that them acquiring Playground is great. I mean, Playground makes one of my favorite racing games. You know what I mean? So they came out at a time when they were innovating, where people were trying to do this genre. Remember, like the crappy ass Fuel. Remember that game Fuel? They tried the open world card thing, and then when Forza Horizon came out, we're like, whoa, it's like Forza, but I can go anywhere, right?
Right.
So I think that this is a given. I'm not too excited. Just
I don't know if we lost all day.
Oh,
You lost
All
it.
day your mic went out.
Somebody
But,
got it, man. Somebody
No,
did.
yeah, right. But no, what do you think, Fonz? What was your take? I mean, it is a big deal, but I mean, at the same time, it was almost like you almost feel like it was a given.
Honestly, yeah, it was a given, and it was one of those things where I was just like, really? I thought they already acquired them. Like, it was like a non-issue for me, and I never thought about it. I didn't realize, I knew Playground wasn't bought by them, but when it happened, it was like about time, It was just...
Well, what's interesting though, Fonz, what's different here is I had those same feelings myself when it was Microsoft purchasing the rights to Gears of War. I felt like Epic was always just part of the team. In this case, I think this buy is a better buy, because you're bringing the talent, the true art over with the game. Whereas before, and don't get me wrong, I love what Rod Ferguson's done with Gears. I love it. I don't even have a butt. I don't even have a critique. I think he did it. I think it was a little safe, but the game was great. So that being said, I like that where they didn't bring the entire crew from Epic over. They acquired some folks, but we saw that same kind of wishy-washy thing happen when Bungie left and 343 took over with Halo. And then you saw like some of the Bungie folks stay, not all of them. So you know what I'm saying? Like that was my only thing. I thought this was a better buy in that case.
Well, let me point out something real quick, right? Because again, I was a lot more pessimistic regarding this. I feared the worst, the Insomniac situation, even where if Microsoft owned Insomniac, we'd get a Sunset too, right? Nobody owns Insomniac, so. Sony fans would love if Sony bought them, because they know what could happen. If Spider-Man gets done, they can go on to something else and for somebody else, right? And that's just the bottom line. That's how it is. My fear was always that Playground would knock it out of the park or finish up their contract, and they don't have any more. Then that's the end of Horizon. Literally, my game of the year, pretty much 2 years ago, was Forza Horizon 3, right? That's honestly, like, you cannot let that situation happen, like the BioWare situation. Like, it cannot happen. So a lot of people weren't real sure that Microsoft didn't own them, but a lot were. And in fact, when they announced that they were doing an open world RPG, the forums were filled up with fanboys saying, I can't wait to play their next game on PS4.
Right.
Like, you can't have that situation. You gotta kind of lock down what's yours. Good, smart move. I'm sure Sony's probably tried numerous times to lock down Insomniac, and Insomniac doesn't want that. It's like, you've got to get, not only did Microsoft need good studios, but you got to have studios with talent.
Good ones.
Studios that are good studios, right? So now, automatically, Playground Games, in my opinion, of course, with an assist from Turn 10, could possibly be their most talented developer.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
It's definitely
400 employees, 2 different teams. It doesn't get any better than that, in my opinion. Alan,
there. What was that, Alan? Were you chiming in?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, Playground are definitely up there. They would definitely be, if Microsoft has acquired them or is acquiring them, they would definitely be up there as one of the best studios for sure.
Well, I think Fonz, you were just, I think it was you just chiming in now. I think this was your whole point. Your point was that they're getting quality out of this buy, right? They're not just picking up a garage band that has a little bit of talent in one game.
Well, yeah, and like Crap was alluding to earlier, they picked up a bunch of other developers and stuff from named studios like Rockstar and such that are used to building these open world games and stuff. So this game that they're working on it has potential. It's there, but man, like with every other Microsoft game this generation, I've just got to see the proof.
It's kind of like, I'm already sold on Forza Horizon 4. I already PayPal'd them yesterday. Actually, I'm more excited to see what they're working on,
Me too, to be honest with you. And and it's funny, I was going to go into a different subject, but since All Day brings it up, I want to get everybody's take on this. We kind of talked about it this morning, and Crap didn't really agree with my take on Breakfast with Boom. I'll say it again. I'm hoping what they are working on is a Fable 4. I think a lot of people in the Xbox camp have that as their, when you ask everybody, what do you want to get on your wish list?
Any advice from Peter Monalou, please.
No, Peter's out. Peter is out. With that being said, though,
look, guys, you can hold hands. You can fight on one another. Isn't that great? Like, no, we don't need.
Do you guys want a darker Fable? Do you guys want a it'll still be an animated series, but a darker and Rand, I said this. I hope you kind of get what I'm saying. I'm talking about the artistic dark quality you got out of those few scenes in Ori and the Blind Forest. Remember when that was you get into the darker areas where everything was decayed and decrepit and you had to bring it back to life. That kind of that environment is what I'm hoping, if it is Playground, brings back to Fable.
So you saying Playground Games turns a decrepit Microsoft first-party studio into one with full of life? Is that the analogy here?
That is correct.
Okay.
What do you think?
What do you think?
I'm more interested in the fact that Microsoft is finally putting money where their mouth is. It's one thing to talk for years about doing something and then finally actually doing it. You know what I mean? Like, they've said they were going to build first party. Okay, have you done it? No, you've only really closed studios. Okay, now you're actually buying studios, a really good one too, and maybe even building some more. Now you can kind of look at film and be like, all right, now you're doing what you said you were going to do 4 years ago. A little bit late, but hey, better late than never. So in my opinion, it's like, it just would be more evidence to the fact that Xbox is now really important to Microsoft, whereas before it wasn't.
Right.
That, you know, they truly are, as things I've heard behind the scenes, that Microsoft they're all in. They're all in for next gen, baby. Like, you know, I remember telling Crap this a year ago. I said, Crap, they gave up on this gen, dude. It's over. Remember?
Yeah.
Like, back when I was doing these shows as a regular, I was like, they gave up. And I think it should be apparent to everybody that they did. But
do you see my problem? Here's my thing, and don't get me wrong. There's actually a good thing to that. And Jez, I want to hear your take on this too. This is just my hypothesis. It's okay to say we're going full bore on next gen, but the problem is now that we're in the era we're in, guys, there isn't a clear next gen anymore. And what I mean by that is PS4 Pro. Rand, you can prove me wrong.
With Rand on this. I've disagreed with Rand on this take before, that they gave up on this gen. The concept of generations is not a thing for Microsoft anymore. I mean, if you watch their boring shows that I watch that Xbox gamers aren't interested in, they talk about this thing called the intelligent edge, right? Where there's just this insaturated cloud of random devices like phones, tablets, PCs, like this whole sort of cloud that Microsoft, cloud's the wrong word, because I'm not talking about cloud processing here. I'm just talking about random devices that have screens that Microsoft could potentially target. They're thinking beyond generations now, and they're thinking beyond PC, and they're thinking more about what can we do to monetize and bring value to the devices that people have, whether, no matter what consoles they are, whether they're an Xbox One, an OG Xbox One, an Xbox One S, or an Xbox One X, or the Xbox 2. And like, that's one of the big questions, is like, when they release the Xbox One 2, will they cut off the current gen that we're on now? Will they cut it off? You know, and we'll have backwards compatibility on the new console, but not forwards compatibility, where there'll be exclusive games for the next console. Now, I think, like, if you are looking at that sort of beyond generation thing, how can you really say that the next, I'm not saying that I know this is the case, but if the next Xbox doesn't have exclusive games, and we still get 1080p versions of those games on the current gen, is that truly next gen? The whole concept of generations is sort of becomes old fashioned then. Exactly. So I think Microsoft has gone up, moved.
Pay your bills, Mooch.
Sorry. Let me pay the bill. Right, Predator. Shout out to Pred, who's here with us. Looks like all Microsoft studios are working on multiple games, except maybe Turn 10 and Mojang. It is time for those two. Oh, look at that! Somebody's playing us. That's all right. I like hearing myself.
That's not me.
To pick up another IP as well. Yeah, no, we're with you, Pred, on that. And go ahead, Rand, finish your thought.
I still think, and I'm going to disagree with Jez until the cows come home, that there's going to be a clear defining line of where next generation starts. And I fully believe that Microsoft is going forward compatible, but Xbox 2, plug right there for the podcast, and PlayStation 5 are going to be like the line. Like, that is next generation. It doesn't really matter if Fable, the next Fable, is a launch game for Xbox 2 running at 4K 60, but then like an Xbox One X could also run that at a lower resolution. Like that is next generation. These games are being made to coincide with the launch of that system. That's kind of my point. It doesn't really matter that the S would be able to play that or a cell phone would be able to stream it to it. That is next generation.
But what if every single Xbox 2 game works on the Xbox One though?
I think that's what they're going for. And I wanted to ask Jez and Rand about this. Like with them going for forwards compatibility, do you think like cloud computing and stuff like that would be involved in kind of like the earlier systems, the systems we're on now, to kind of keep it up to snuff, up to par, at least somewhat, even though we're going into another generation?
I think there's technical complexities there that probably haven't been thought about or worked out yet. Microsoft has, like, in the developer documents for Xbox One, Microsoft talks about change resilience and developing your games in such a way that they can target different resolutions and frame rates dynamically based on the Xbox Dev Kit. The Xbox Dev Kit, you can put it in Xbox One S mode, Xbox One mode, or Xbox One X mode.
They do the work for them, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
so, like, it's sort of like, it's more PC-like in the way that my Surface Book 2, if I want to, I can run a Microsoft DOS game on it, or I can run, like, a 4K game like Sea of Thieves on it, you know. They want that. The one in Xbox One means one platform, you know. So, and again, I'm not predicting that they won't eventually cut off the original Xbox One and move on with new technology and stuff like that. But it's very much ingrained in Microsoft's current thought process that these devices aren't the important thing to the company. The important thing is the upsell, selling Xbox Live, selling Game Pass and stuff like that. And of course, you need to sell the consoles to leverage that. But you don't cut off the 35 million or whatever it is that you've already sold. Mm-hmm. You don't cut that off, because that is counterintuitive in Microsoft's new thought pattern. So imagine if Sony cuts off with the PS5, mm-hmm. it has exclusive games, and they cut off all the users that own a PS5 now.
On the panel that want that to happen, though.
I actually do.
So it sounds like they might be just giving you options of power.
But it doesn't just. I mean,
options of power and price.
Yeah.
That is just what generations are all about, though. I mean, that's what happens. You move on after a few years. I don't get this.
People don't move on. People still play the 360.
Anybody doesn't move on.
I get that. There are people that do that. Just like there are people that wear, Chicago Bulls winning the NBA trophy.
I'll wear it.
But it's just
the thing we need to move on from. We need to move on from that sort of thought process.
Well, let me say this though. Like, trying to force people to move on from that thought process is a little bit wrong, in my opinion. I think that for me personally, it just feels more next gen if you can't play that stuff on your old console.
And besides, why would
it also feels like a whole lot less money for Microsoft, though.
But that holds back innovation. When you hold back a game because of the
people become complacent.
Here's the problem.
I kind of agree
guys.
with Fonz on that one.
Here's the problem, right? The Xbox One name still carries a really negative stigma. So we can all sit there and go, yeah, but Microsoft won't get anything because they've got 30 million users. And so if they go next gen, they'll lose those. Well, guess what? Those 30 million, a lot of them will probably just buy a PlayStation 5 because they're going to consider that next gen. And then they'll just keep their, maybe that's Microsoft fine with that. But
at the end of the day, we don't know, though. It's never been done before. Like, we don't know if it's going to hold the system back. We don't know if people are going to go and instead of getting the Xbox, they're going to buy the PS5. Well, how do you know, though?
It doesn't on PC, though. It doesn't on PC. PC has ultimate forwards and backwards compatibility, and it also has the best looking games.
That's the thing, Fonz,
but you also have to keep this in mind, Jez, right? Like, I guess just for argument's sake, you could still say that some of those old PCs can't run games, though. Like, there's a minimum spec. They do move those specs up.
Oh, for sure.
And also the old, like, look, the original Xbox One, how long are you going to support that? It was 1.3 teraflops and ran that terrible memory, right?
Yeah,
so they're going to have to program for that. for that as well. And not only that, but what I think of as next gen, like we're already doing 4K 60 on stuff on the Xbox One X on a lot of stuff actually. So I'm cool with that. But at the same time, what about larger worlds and more AI and smarter AI? I think that's the things that I really want, and I don't think that the older Xboxes will be able to do that.
The thing, though.
Yeah,
I
agree.
I've been through every generation, and I not once looked back and said, man, I wish I could have played this game on my old Nintendo. No, I didn't. I want to move forward with technology. I want to move forward with innovation. And if they don't continue to move forward with the technology in these consoles, you're going to hold back innovation within the games. It's going to.
You are the minority, though.
I'm not in the minority. Everybody.
No. I mean, most people are playing Fortnite, which looks like crap. You know, that's the majority game right now is Fortnite. Fortnite can run on a potato. That's that thought process of I want to progress, blah blah blah. It's
that's just one developer,
and it's superseded by fun.
It is with just, really, it's a concept to get your head around, Fonz. And don't get me wrong, I'm actually in the same seat with you here. I understand that. I've had a hard time to grasp it. What Jez is saying is right. If you look at it from the PC space, something that someone who's been a PC gamer and not a console gamer, they bought a game 10 years ago. And if they choose or choose not to, they can just strike it up at will. The one thing we've got to understand is that we're putting a lot of faith, and Jez, tell me if I'm wrong here. We're putting a lot of faith with this new era in the developers. We're hoping the developers will take the new consoles and push them forward. Number two, you remember the conversation we were having when the X was coming out before it came out? Well, that's not fair. You're going to be playing PUBG at 4K 60, and I'm going to be playing it at 30. That's not fair. Well, here's the thing. That's a you problem. Yeah. And Fonz, guess what? You're not going to have a problem because you're going to be buying the new tech. I am. The person that still holds on to last gen, that's a them problem.
But here's the thing. Let me say. Go ahead, Jez.
I was just gonna say, like, I agree with the whole idea that it could hold back progress and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And developers don't want to be someone doesn't get into the game development thinking, you know what, I want to be the world's greatest Candy Crush developer. No game developer thinks that. But the fact of the matter is, in an ideal world, Microsoft would be doing the heavy lifting when it comes to the change resilience. That's why they developed this platform.
Yeah, Fortnite is an anomaly, though. I mean, that thing is just...
It's not, though. I mean, look at World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft looks like a PlayStation 1 game. It still has 15 million paying subscribers.
Yeah, I'm just... You know what? I still think that, like, a lot of people would just go to Sony if Sony says no backwards compatibility. That's kind of my opinion on that.
Maybe
so Crab, let me ask you something. So what you're saying is that you think that the PlayStation 5 is going to actually have games that you can only play there. Like, let's say The Last of Us 3 is only going to be available on that console.
Yeah, they're not going to put it on the PS4.
Okay. Well, I mean, I
think they'll have PS4 backwards compatibility. I just don't think that they're going to do forward compatibility because why would you? When Sony's whole business is based off of PlayStation, so they're going to want to, set themselves up with PlayStation in the future.
What is the smarter business model, though? What is the smarter business model? I ask you.
Forward compatibility. You know why? Hold on. With forward compatibility, when the new hardware launches, you're not depending on the hardcore to buy your games as well. The people that are laying back that have their Xbox One X's or S's are still buying the same games, which is creating more revenue for them.
I don't care about their revenue, man.
I the games and to make more and to keep going and so on and so forth. I think because it's never been done before, I'm hearing what everybody is saying, and I'm like, all right, well, I don't know necessarily, but I don't think they're gonna go into the next generation like half-assed and not think about the forwards compatibility and how things are gonna run on previous hardware and stuff. If they created that one platform, they're not looking at generations. I think they have it pretty much planned out, like where they're going.
Let me do this real quick.
You don't make money on the hardware.
Jez, you have the Raven Flow saying he's saying Fortnite and WoW, and you've played a ton of WoW. They're lasting because of their art style. Would you buy into that or not really?
No.
I don't know, man. I
don't think it's
they're just fun games. And they run on low-end hardware, and they have a huge potential audience because, like I say, you can run I could run Overwatch at 60 frames per second on an integrated graphics card. because they developed it with the idea in mind. You know what? Instead of making this look like the most high fidelity, gorgeous game ever made, let's just make sure it looks cool and it's fun, and we can reach as many people as possible. And that's sort of like more Microsoft thinking. They're like, what is the smarter business model? Spend hundreds of millions making The Last of Us 3 and make it a PS5 exclusive on a console that you've probably got like razor thin margins on.
Okay,
or
but
do you make a version of it that can run on the 50 million that you've already got for better margins?
But here's my point. You brought up like World of Warcraft. I would cringe at the thought of some of those raids being played on the base Xbox One. I really would, because the frames would be just horrendous. And that's my point. Like, you have to have the new tech to play these games at a certain level, and I just don't think that
moves on.
And every once in a while, Blizzard does update their character models and their worlds.
Yeah, the minimum specs for World of Warcraft have increased exponentially over time.
See the pain though is on the back end. It's on the older hardware. If you see anything in terms of pain or degradation when it comes to the title, you're going to see it on the back end. You're not going to see any kind of hampering of innovation or anything on the high end.
That's my only point, really. My only point is like, yeah, technical innovation happen, minimum specs increase, but it's less extreme on PC than it is with consoles, where it's like, okay, if you want to buy the Last of Us game, you have to spend an extra $500 on this new console. You can't play it on your other console, and for a lot of people, that's a big ask.
You know, it's funny. Let's stop and think about this. Jez is making a point. I'm sitting here thinking about it.
I hear the point he's making, but just look at how many people we see that are even Xbox guys that are like, picked up my PS4, gonna play that God of War.
Right, and don't get me wrong, you're right. There is a counter to the argument, but I will say this much: we all agree.
Can I say something?
Go ahead, Rand.
Yeah.
Microsoft's business strategy should be clear to everybody. They're about breaking down restrictions and playing the content that you want to play on whatever device that you have. If it's Fable on Xbox 2 at 4K 60, that's where it's going to be. If it's on PC at 8K and 120 frames, that's where it'll be. If it's on your mobile phone streaming from Xbox Cloud Gaming Division, that's where it'll be. If it's forward compatible because you only have an Xbox One S, that's where it's going to be. That is their business strategy moving forward, dropping the restrictions and getting you the content wherever you are. And I think it's almost a plain as day.
Yeah.
We've talked about this countless times. That is the future of Xbox. And if you don't like that, like if you have an issue about all these games being wherever else, then maybe you should consider getting a different system.
Exactly, right? It really is. You know,
I mean, it's a shame that Microsoft. Honestly, I think that they think that this is going to be such a big thing. It's like when they announced Play Anywhere, they had this gleam in their eye, like it's going to be the next big thing, and it isn't. You know.
Well, here's my thing, though. We sat here and we say, even the Sony guys will tell you this. They'll say, the one thing that we thought was pretty arrogant was when the PS3 came out and they were $600 and they knew they had the lead, right? So now they have the lead. And I actually see your side, Crap, because we've agreed on this. But when you sit there and think of it in the business sense or what's actually out there in the wild, all these consoles, if Microsoft starts next generation with 45 million people already able to play their software and Sony does start from scratch,
who's going to make Sony win?
I don't think so.
I'll tell you this. As soon as you say next generation, you can only play this on the PS5.
It'll take time to win 80 million more people, Crap.
Sony already sells 20 million
Battlefield, Call of Duty,
let me tell you this.
Witcher 4, all those games.
How fast do you think the Switch is going to catch the Xbox One in sales? Probably by the end of this year.
It'll catch fairly quick.
Probably by the end of the right. How long do you think it's going to take a next generation PS5 with, by the way, Sony's got their own new studio with former Naughty Dog employees building Uncharted's only. So Uncharted, the next God of War, you're only going to be able to play these games on a PS5. You're going to get a PS5. I'm going to get a PS5.
They're
Rand's going to get a PS5. Everybody's going to get it's Oprah up in here.
You didn't say me. You didn't say me. I know.
I know because I know you. Jez. You work for Windows Central.
Listen,
if Xbox wants to move forward and still include all the Xbox Ones, the base model and all that, look, fine. But when it comes down to the games and and developers start to say, well, we can't add this to the game because the Xbox One base platform can't use that feature. So we can't put that in there. It's going to run really bad. So we're going to omit that. That's when it would piss me off. I don't want that to happen.
I don't think that'll happen. I think Microsoft is loose enough where if a developer has that issue where like they don't want to do that, then they probably don't have to.
Yeah,
Guys,
they're never gonna. I'm gonna put this out there. Then they'll never force devs to target specific platforms. Like I'm just talking about Microsoft's exclusive here. Like I think Halo 6. Like if Halo 6 is a next gen game, quote unquote, it'll also be on the Xbox One. But like if a dev only wants to target Xbox 2 with their games, I don't think Microsoft will say no, you can't do that. Because they don't do it on PC now. I mean, they could easily just say, you know what? If you want to make a game for Xbox One, you have to use UWP and you have to put it on Windows 10. They don't do that, and I can't see them doing that on the Xbox 2 either.
I'm going to make a crazy prediction here. If the next Xbox is forwards compatible, like I think we all think that's where it's going, and the next PlayStation isn't, I'm going to say that more devs will, the third party wise, are gonna go to where the bigger bases, the bigger gaming base, and I'm gonna say that Xbox,
pass that over here, bro.
Hold on, Xbox is platform for
now do it as D-badge.
Yeah. Oh, Xbox. That was
they'll go where the bigger base is always, but the thing is, the PS4 will still have a bigger base.
Listen, they will. Not only that, but check this out. Here's the thing. Sony always will have the larger market around the rest of the world. And this is not even hating because I like the Xbox and I think it'll do fine. It'll just do fine in last place.
Hold on, Sony doesn't. If Sony doesn't go forwards compatible, they're not going to start off right off the bat like with the next PlayStation at like 45 million.
They skunked this generation so bad.
I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but the Nintendo Switch throws a huge wrench in this because according to developers, they would much rather go after the Nintendo Switch than the PS4 or the Xbox One, or even, well, Steam is still number one just based on the fact of the how big, you know, that the PC market is. But I don't know if you guys have been seeing shit. Switch, like, games are outselling PS4 and Xbox games by like quantities of like 5 times. Like, this is no joke.
This
like,
is indie games, though.
Well, hold on.
They're not competing with AAA.
Innovation, though, man.
Yeah, the Switch isn't getting big third parties, though, really.
Well, not right now, but I'm saying if you're talking all, like, we're lumping all developers together. Like, there are a handful of AAA developers, but there are millions and millions of indie developers.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, like,
go to Switch.
Most developers will go where the Switch is. I'm just saying. And I've had this conversation with Jazz I don't know how many times, and I keep on saying, hey, look at this game outside this. And Jazz always says, it's indie, it's stupid, it's not Call of Duty, it's not Gears of War. I'm just saying, what if a situation does come out? What if a situation does come out?
Rand, Mr. Rand, I take exception. Which game are you talking about? Like, are you still salty because I didn't play Edith Finch?
No, I don't care about that.
You are so salty.
No. I'm just saying. All I see are headlines about how this game sold the best on Switch, which is a relatively new console. And people always, like Crap just said, people, like, you know, he said they don't do AAA. What if a scenario comes out where they start putting AAAs on there and they start selling better on the Switch?
Right.
Then what?
I mean,
I would different use case.
It's the portability factor there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's 100% the portability.
For me, I'm just saying, and I know it sounds bad because I'm an Xbox guy, right? But just and it's just old thinking. You know, next generation means something. Like, you're getting something that can't be done on the that's the whole point of next generation. So if it can be done on this hardware, you know, that begs the question, is it next gen? And also for developers, I think that even now we see some instances like what the hell's that game, that Dark Souls game that remastered? It runs the same on the Xbox One X as the PS4 Pro. Devs aren't putting in their full effort into a lot of these games. That's probably going to happen.
What that is.
And look, what do you think is going to happen next gen? So developers are going to go, okay, so we've got to get a PS5 version, which is cool because they're not going to be forward compatible. So they're only got to do one version for Sony. And then when you come over to Microsoft, you're like, holy fuck. Okay, we got to get this thing on the Xbox, the Xbox One, the Xbox Two, the Xbox S, the X, the Windows Phone, the the iOS, this, the fucking
whoa, leak! Windows Phone's coming back. Oh, yeah.
Well, Jez, a lot of this was all promised to be an easy fix for developers with the Windows 10 platform, right?
Well, it's man, I ain't a developer, so I don't know the full complement of intricacies that go into, you know, building a game that is change resilient and all that stuff. And Crap's right. You know, a lot of devs, they don't use the X to its maximum capacity. I mean, and you know, we've even got Xbox original games like State of Decay, which don't run that great on the X, but actually have a better frame rate on the S for some reason because of poor optimization and stuff like that. Like game development is complicated. I mean, the whole idea behind the possibility of Microsoft making a system where devs can target the Xbox One as a platform rather than as a console, that's on Microsoft to make those tools work. And yeah, maybe it won't work, maybe it'll suck, and it won't. And, you know, devs will just say, you know what, I'm just going to stick with Sony because it's easy, or I'll stick with Switch because there's no competition on it, or whatever. But it's on Microsoft to, if that is Microsoft's vision, it's on them to get it right. You know.
Well, one of the great things, Jez, about an E3 show that we get to do right now is some of the things that fans are always thinking about is all of us on the panel, what we're hoping for, what we're guessing for. I'm just going to throw this out there because I'm not going into the wishes and all that stuff right now. That's at the end of the show. But I from what I've seen on Twitter and some of the faithful, you are one of them, Jez, but I am not going to put you under the hot seat because I understand there's certain things you can and can't say. But like literally,
I have nothing.
Okay, good. Then I just want your opinion. I think in order for Microsoft to counter everything we just said about why they would always be behind the 8 ball, I'm thinking that they will announce this week new hardware for 2019. Basically, the Xbox 2 coming out end of next year.
0.0.
I think it's 0.2, but nonetheless,
I really think you guys need to go PC, man. Really. Come on.
The big announcement PC game as well week was RGB lighting.
I'm going to come in here with a scoop.
I thought somebody let D in here for a second. I swear to God.
Alan's got a scoop, crap.
I got a scoop.
Go ahead, Alan.
I can assure you they will definitely be announcing new hardware on Sunday in the form of the Elite Controller 2.0.
There you go. What do you think, Rand? I mean, do you think that this is how the 360, the only way they did it was the Trojan horse? And I think that the only way that Xbox can do something, if they want to, I understand that Xbox's goal is not to strike Sony. They're looking globally. They're looking big. They want to hit those 2 billion gamers. That means people on iPhones, everything. So I understand that they're not looking at just Sony. But if they want to get back in the console discussion, wouldn't they have to kind of, and we know Sony's coming out 2020, 2021. They've basically said it. So is it in Microsoft's best interest? Because we can't get more 4K or 60 frame per second. Or if they come out with a big time beast next year, Sony can only really match them the year after. Anybody? I mean, Rand, does that hold water?
I don't look. I think it's important for Microsoft to come out at the same time, maybe before, but I think 2019 is way too early for that. Way too early. I mean, I'm looking at like 2020 as the transition.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. They just sold an Xbox One X last year. Yeah. It'd be kind of.
But listen to what Jez is saying, and I understand where you guys are coming from with that. But what Jez is saying, and not just Jez, what Microsoft is saying is, you don't have to buy the new stuff.
I know you don't, but also what's the I also can't imagine a situation where the Xbox 2 is cheaper than the X, which is the X is still $500. So you need time to let that get down to a price where the 2 can be a little bit more expensive, because there's no way the 2 is going to come out at 400 and the X still be 400, right?
Well, this is where Jez is going to throw tomatoes at me from long distance, but they could pull an Apple here and then say he gets on stage and he shows the X.
If they pulled an Apple, they wouldn't release a new Xbox for like 8 years.
Well, that's true. If you're going back to that's the Steve Jobs method.
But what they need to it's not announcing announcing hardware at E3 is not going to do anything for them. What people want to hear is they want to see a good show, which I believe they will have. I think there is going to be a ton of amazing third-party content on display, tons of it, right?
Yes.
But what people really want to know about is the future of first party. What are they doing?
Absolutely.
That is what is going to win people back, or maybe stop people from leaving. Not like a new hardware in 2019, but like a kick-ass looking new Halo RPG, a badass Gears XCOM, Gears of War 5 that looks ridiculous, a Halo 6 that is just, you know, mouth-watering, a new IP.
Fishing mode.
Yeah, I mean that's what people are going to. That's what people want to see.
Rand, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. But I'm trying to put the pieces together of what everyone's been saying on the show and what Microsoft's been saying for years. What I'm saying to you is absolutely, they could actually take 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes or 7 minutes to talk about new hardware, because now it's forward and backward compatible. We don't have to make the big splash anymore.
Here's the thing, though. The majority of people, like even the casuals, aren't going to realize or know what any of that stuff means. They're just going to be like, holy shit, they're already announcing new hardware. They just sold us the S one year, the X the next year. Now they're already announcing new hardware, right? Like that's how Sega really screwed Sega, was by like, okay, here's the Genesis, here's the Sega CD, here's the 32X, and here's the Saturn in a span of like 3 years. And people abandon that platform.
You're right, Crap. And the X comes the closest to it. But even the Pro that I have, and even the X, like we're at a point right now where, yes, you're right. The new hardware after new hardware can really be like a thorn in your foot. But at the same time, we are at a 4K 60, or at least a 1080p 60 era. We've been there for a long time, and these machines still aren't pulling that necessarily.
Well, I mean, look, here's the thing. We already have the most powerful hardware for probably at least the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see I don't think they really care anymore about the hardware, unless it's,
could be right.
You know, I'm telling you, and especially if they're doing forward compatibility. Again, I've said this a million times. People drop their current systems for quote unquote next gen. They don't drop their systems for a mid-gen upgrade. And if you can still play this shit on the old stuff, and I know people don't like to hear this, then that's not going to give people big enough reason to upgrade.
I want to switch subjects real quick, but I do want to go back real quick. Predator did ask a question, and we were in such a heated conversation. I read it and I said, yeah, but it was actually a question. The answer is never yeah. So I would like to go back to his question. He just said Mojang and Top, what do you call it there? Turn 10. Okay. Both make exquisite games. We know that. Will they start to branch off and make another new IP for Microsoft?
Mojang already did.
Yeah, Mojang.
What was it called?
That terrible.
I can't even remember what it was called.
It wasn't very good. Yeah.
What was it called? Block Supreme? Like what's
the robot thing?
Cobalt. Yeah.
The fuck is that?
Yeah, I remember when it came out. Exactly, all day. Yeah, it's just gone. But what do you guys think that they have an opportunity to double down on those studios, or no? Those are just that's it. It's specific.
I think Turn 10 helps with Forza Horizon too. To be honest with you,
yeah, like you wouldn't get Turn 10 to make a non-Forza game because all the people who work there are car guys. They want to make car games. They want to make racing simulators.
See, I would have said that 2 years ago about Playground.
Well, Playground hired specific people to work on an open world RPG.
Playground's Forza team are also made up of car guys. The guys who are making Fable are not the car guys.
That's correct. That is correct. As a car sound effect goes in the background. That was cool.
Perfect pass by right there, man.
Fonz, what were you saying? Something?
No, I said that was a good thing that the guys that are making the car games aren't making that new Playground game because
unless they want to help with the horses, I don't know.
Yeah.
True. Well, let me so now moving on to our next subject, I do want to talk about this because this is something that really kind of hits home for me is the whole State of Decay 2 situation. Right? Not just the game, but the sales. Recently, and it leads me to what Microsoft, how they're going to present Game Pass on the stage this year. I don't know if they're just going to use it as a stat, be like 2 million people, and then like go on and leave it behind, or start utilizing Game Pass for something that someone maybe even get some of the hardcore people a little bit more enthralled into it. So they said 2 million active people were playing. Jez, correct me where I'm wrong. I'm really paraphrasing here. But 2 million people were playing at one point in time at State of Decay 2. But I've noticed that they've only mentioned Game Pass numbers and promoted Game Pass the week after Sea of Thieves and then the week after State of Decay, when a lot of randoms will just put $10 down to try a game. What's going to happen July 15th when there's no new game in there that's a first party?
Their baseline.
Are we going to see 2 million, or are we going to see a dramatic decline to 600,000 people using Game
Pass? You're going to see a decline. Most people don't even know Game Pass exists. You know, it's not like it's not sort of slipped into that psyche, like
I
mainstream
disagree with you on that one, Jez. I disagree. I disagree with the sentiment. No, I disagree with the sentiment that most people don't know that Game Pass exists.
Most people don't care.
Well, you can disagree all you want, but it's true.
I don't think
I've been told the opposate. So
where do you think though, Rand? Where are they getting this? There's no commercials on TV. There's no
one of your relatives. They're not going to have heard of Game Pass.
What are we talking like? You're like my 10-year-old retarded nephew or something that doesn't know about it?
I'm talking about total casuals who don't pay attention.
Yeah.
That's why, dude. If everyone knew about Game Pass, they wouldn't be doing sales for $1. It wouldn't be on the Windows Store constantly every day. Like get Game Pass for $1. It's because they're trying to they're marketing it. You know, if everyone knew what it was, they wouldn't be marketing it.
Well, I may be in the minority, but I've had Game Pass for quite some time, and my son plays it a lot, so I game share with him. So Game Pass has been great in that regard. There's a lot of games there for him to play. So
I just don't give a shit about Game Pass, so I think it's stupid.
Well, I think there's
a dynasty.
The one person that I know who liked Game Pass is my buddy Grave, and he always messages me, Game Pass blows, dude, because he's always asked me, is this game on Game Pass? Is this game? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, what the hell games are on Game Pass? And I'm like, well, the new 60 rated Xbox, the newest 60 rated AA Xbox exclusives, and some old ass indies and old ass games from 360 and from this generation from 3 years ago.
Well, don't you guys think that we need to get some day and date like level B AAA games? Like Metro Exodus, shouldn't that be in their day and date?
They need something like that. They definitely need some of these
third-party games. I've been saying it. They need to go shop around for these third-party devs and get some of these game exclusives to Game Pass. Period.
That's right. Because that would get someone like myself in there.
Party devs to do that, where it is like Microsoft's ones are like, but dude, like who really wants? Like RoboCraft.
Undead Labs. No, I'm joking.
Hey, RoboCraft is sweet. I want to be bad mouth in that game.
Undead Labs might not be third party for long, by the way. But yeah, you can see, you could see anything happen, But like, I don't think, like those little shits won't matter in the long run. Like for them to really do something.
There's a lot of games on Game Pass, like I believe it's Terraria, where a lot of people play. My son and his friends all play that game a lot.
But that game's been $1.75.
This is the thing you have to remember with the gaming market. It's so saturated now that there's all types of gamers who like doing all types of different things. There are people who are obsessed with Angry Birds, for God's sake, right?
Is that still a thing?
Exactly. Is that still a thing? Exactly. And it's like, yeah, there are people who you can monetize playing those terrible games. RoboCraft Infinity, you might laugh about it, but it has a community and it's exclusive to Game Pass. So like, even though it's like this sort of very sort of rough engine-based indie game, there are people out there who will play it because there's just such a huge market for all types of games now. So Game Pass doesn't have to cater to a core crowd. But it can be its own thing where it has like these sort of fun little indie games, that maybe sit somewhere alongside the mobile platform, and maybe you could have a device that's basically a Nintendo Switch, but all it does is run Game Pass games.
Dude, wait
X-Boy.
until Halo
X-Boy
and Gears they release in day and date. They're going to be in Game Pass. You're going to see those numbers go through the freaking roof.
Well, that's what people are
sure.
getting it for, bro.
Well,
will they the big games
like that? A big AAA game, say like Halo.
This is the thing, though. You only need these service type games like RoboCraft, which, by the way, isn't terrible. It's kind of fun. I built like this giant penis robot.
Whoa!
It was just. You can make all sorts of fun shapes and put wheels and rockets on them.
Fun, bro.
You take an Xbox
someone might be addicted to that one game. They will subscribe for that one game. Microsoft will only have to pay royalties on that one game. That's really great margins. So the Game Pass is going to surprise people, I think, because it's not just Netflix for games. It's something more. It's like it turns games into it can turn a single game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you game into a subscription-based game, RoboCraft Infinity is basically World of Warcraft for some people who only play RoboCraft Infinity, subscribing at $10 a month
and getting everything else.
Wait, is RoboCraft free on Steam? I mean.
No, I don't think so.
Somebody in the chat just said it's free on Steam.
Well, not everyone's got a PC, you know.
Not everybody wants to play on a PC also, by the way.
Well, let me ask this real quick. I'm paying the bills real quick. Shout out to Stop 6 Doc, who says he's going to be at the conference on Sunday. So that's awesome, Stop 6. That's cool. And actually, you know what? All day. You said something.
Elite controller, man.
All day said he was going to pick this up. All day. You picking up that table tennis game?
What? Of course. That's my first 360 game ever owned when I first bought my console.
Shout out to Sir X Man. He may be playing it, dude. He's all about that game. So that's
$6.
Awesome.
Bro,
$6 right now.
Table tennis is great, bro.
That's what I'm saying. He goes, dude, if you haven't done this, Mooch, you got to get on that. I'm like, all right, I'm check it out for $6. Can't argue with that.
Hey, shout out to
I'm
Butcher
gonna say
Van,
this.
who hooked me up with Shaq Fu too.
Who did?
Butcher Van.
Yeah,
I
got that.
He gave me an Xbox both that game. I was like, I don't know whether to thank him or not.
Butcher, Van, I thought we had a deal, Butcher.
I had on Super Nintendo, man. I was pumped.
It's actually not terrible. It's just super
not.
repetitive.
Yeah.
What is it? I never heard it. What is it?
Shaq Fu 2.
Yeah, it's a new one.
Shaq Fu?
Yeah.
I heard like this, like what, 2 hours?
It's one of the worst games ever.
Yeah, correct.
Fonz just wrapped it up for you right there. Yeah. No, I mean, well, speaking of things that have taken forever, let's get into it real quick. Crackdown 3. So, Jez, you have the famous / infamous article. What's going on with Crackdown? I mean, I myself was very happy, but I was happy to hear it was delayed because it would have been a mess this year.
Huh?
What?
Crackdown's always been a mess. What are you talking about?
Well, no, here's the thing. Crackdown 3 would have gotten eaten alive if it came out between September and November. With all the games that are coming out.
They got 8 in 2007. What do you mean?
No, you know what? Here's what it boils down to. I think with Crackdown 3, I think no matter when it releases, it's going to be mediocre. Okay, it's
Okay.
It's Crackdown. So I think when it does release, they didn't want to release it now because they've already had 2 games that released that are mediocre. You know, and you can't have a third in the same year.
Okay, so but that kind of contradicts it though, right, Fonz? Because if they want to just have it mediocre, they could have just released it now. You're saying even next year it'll be mediocre.
It's still going to be hopefully they'll have something before then. I don't know. That's better than that. I don't know. Maybe something that'll hit a 75 on Metacritic. I don't know.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not a huge Crackdown fan, but I do have a little bit of faith that I think, and don't get me wrong, this is part of Crap kind of talked me into this thought. And Jez, Rand, chime in if you guys know more than I do. But, Crap was saying after a 2-year delay, basically, all said and done, you're looking at a lot more money, a lot more people got involved, and a lot more polish. And it didn't even really look that bad when Rad Brad was playing the single player about 6 months ago. So
Well, I mean,
It
Phil's
looks like
Crackdown. Phil's walking around the office slapping yellow sticky notes on everybody's desk saying can't be a 60. That's what he's doing.
yeah.
So that's
So,
what
I
it
mean-
feels like.
I mean, Crackdown has serious problems, dude. Serious
They
problems.
have 2 previous entries, and this is the 3rd, and they still can't get it right.
Well, that's what I said. I can't understand you're having a hard time with the third
Okay.
iteration.
But let me tell you something,
Right.
because I heard you say that, Mooch, on RDX.
Yeah.
But here's one thing I wanted to drive home. Crackdown 1 came out, and it was okay. It was a decent game. Crackdown 2 came out, and it was terrible.
Yeah, it was
And
bad.
the third, I mean,
Am I the only one who liked Crackdown 2? Like,
Yeah,
on
you're
the
weird, bro.
You're the only one. Even Phil Spencer hates that game.
Dude,
My God.
that
Oh
toy
my
chest DLC, man, get the rocket boots. Like,
Oh my God, explain.
But, I mean, when you break it down, you don't delay a game 2 years for polish. You delay a game for 2 years because it's just not finished.
True.
And it has developmental
Facts.
issues. It has bad developmental issues. Now,
Well, to be fair, Crackdown 1 was a 83 Metacritic. So that's a little bit better than just okay. And then the second
Crackdown
one
wasn't that bad.
For its time.
second
I
one, they
still
rushed
think,
out.
and I said this on our show, I think this is an issue with Microsoft maybe working with the developer they shouldn't have worked with.
Can I ask you something
Yeah.
for the whole panel?
You know,
I want
What's
to hear.
up?
Go ahead, Fonz.
Okay, you play Crackdown 1. Yeah, go ahead and play it on the backwards compatibility.
I
And
did.
Tell me, does it feel dated?
No, I think it feels great. I think it
I'm outta
actually
here.
plays better
Oh,
than what the hell is that recent game that came out that's
Agents
like
of Mayhem?
Crackdown?
No, you're talking about the one with
Mayhem.
Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah, I think it plays better than that. To be honest with you, all the leveling up, and it has co-op where Agents of Mayhem didn't have any co-op.
anybody else?
I thought it feels
It feels
dated.
dated.
I'm not a Crackdown fan.
I mean, I haven't played it since 2007. So I don't know.
Okay,
I'd imagine. I mean, Uncharted 1 feels dated. I can imagine Crackdown 1 feels dated.
Good point.
Well.
And Crackdown 3 looks to be much of the same. The game mechanics itself has not changed much.
Actually, they did change it. They added the double jump and then the thrust forward.
Well, it looks.
We know you love Crackdown 1, Crap. I see it all the time in your videos.
Oh yeah, dude. I do love Crackdown 1. I know it's.
You know, here's the thing about Crackdown. You know, yeah, what you guys are referring to. I understand that. Unfortunately, it has a stigma, and I totally get that. You know, obviously, a game that's going to be delayed this long. You know, it's never going to get out of its own way, so to speak. But you also got to remember, if this is a big if now, if this multiplayer mode hits, like I'm expecting it's going to hit, people will not be talking just about the single player being only 8 or 10 hours. They're going to be playing multiplayer with their friends, 5v5, blowing up an entire city, and then an hour later redoing it all over again. You know, we keep talking about it. Looks. I mean, look. We don't know what's going on with the cloud, you know, the cloud-based destruction. But you know what? We're going to see it on their stage. That they've already said.
I've been told the multiplayer is fine.
Okay, so why are they focusing?
They wanted to up level.
Okay, so the main shebang of Crackdown is the multiplayer, right? For most people. Why are they doubling down on single player?
Well, here's the thing, right? And I don't know, maybe Brand and Jez have heard something along these lines. If they would have released the game now, you're talking about a 4 to 6 hour campaign, one multiplayer mode, the Wrecking Ball mode, or Wrecking Crew, excuse me, 5v5. That is a recipe for not good. So supposedly they're putting more money into it, and there's going to be more multiplayer modes, a longer, more fleshed out campaign with, I guess, better graphics and whatever. So, you know, that can't be a bad thing.
Good from the start, though.
Look, I mean, I think I'd rather have the game be delayed than
I agree
with the chance to be good than come out now and be like Fawn said, just okay or mediocre.
Right.
I mean, there's a chance it comes out a year from now and it's still just mediocre, but there's a better chance.
Then imagine what it would have been if it would have released now.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I know they want it to be bigger. They want it to be a franchise they can count on in the future. But I still think that the big issue here is who they chose to work with. I don't think Sumo Digital is very good at what they do, and clearly, I think they bit off more than they can chew. I don't think they were right for this project, and this goes, in my opinion, to the core issue that Microsoft has, which is the reliance on second parties to do anything for them, which has really come back to bite them in the ass.
What was the first two developers?
Real-Time Worlds,
Real-Time Worlds,
Crackdown 1, and Ruffian Games for Crackdown 2.
Ruffian Games has a terrible track record.
Well, so did Real-Time Worlds after Crackdown. They made APB and was one of the biggest flocks in gaming. And I'm just saying, like, Crackdown 3, great that delayed. Hopefully it's better for it. It has major issues, which is why it's been delayed 2 years. Hopefully we get a better game out of it. I mean, what else is there to say, right?
In the meantime, we're going to have a really highly rated Forza Horizon game come out this year.
Yeah, unless you subscribe to the notion that Game Pass is there to release broken games into. Imagine if Forza Horizon 4 is broken in some way.
Here's what worries me.
Oh god, Rand just jinxed Forza Horizon 4. You heard it here on the show.
Alan just fainted.
You know what worries me? What worries me is the music situation, because there's no Forza games in there due to the musical licenses. And I always wonder, are they, because the Horizon music is always such a central part.
Yes, it is.
So you have to wonder if they're going to just go cheapo random music or no music.
No, you can't. Well, you got to have churches, man.
The Forza games are licensed, are usually licensed on a 4-year basis. After 4 years, the game will be taken off the digital store. So if Forza is on Game Pass and they're still doing licensing the same way, those titles are going to be taken off it in 4 years' time. They have to be.
Yeah, it might come with there may be something in writing.
But they said they'll always be in there, so won't people bring that up?
That might have an asterisk.
I think that's why Aaron Greenberg was reluctant to say. I'm sure I asked someone about this on the record, and someone at Microsoft, I think it was Aaron Greenberg, and they were super reluctant to say whether the games will be permanently there because of those licensing issues.
Exactly.
They could just get like Mick Gordon to make the death metal soundtrack for Forza Horizon 4.
Don't you say Major Nelson will come in with a tweet and say, hey, you can link your Spotify account to Forza Horizon.
Well, I mean, I do. So wait, are we saying we don't expect Forza Horizon 4 to be in Game Pass? Or
Oh no,
it
will. It will.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Like, confirmed it will. I should say actually, Aaron Greenberg did say on Twitter that they have no plans at all to bring Horizon 3 or Forza 7 to Game Pass.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Which is kind of interesting, especially because like Forza 7 obviously doesn't have a licensed soundtrack; they compose it themselves. So.
It's the cars too, then, isn't it? Maybe.
So yeah, the cars are obviously a part of it as well.
Well,
yeah.
You know what Microsoft could do? They could put Microsoft Miami Street into Game Pass. There you go.
I'm doing a Twitter poll.
It's quite funny.
Game.
I played Miami Street, and there's a lot of assets borrowed from Forza.
I bet
it was
Microsoft.
A Forza game, man. It was Forza
Microsoft
branded.
is kicking themselves a little bit for saying they're going to put Forza games in there because that's probably the game that they have the most opportunity to make money off of this holiday. And
so, when do you think they decided to call Miami Street instead of Forza Street?
When they saw it was shit.
When I can guarantee you the leadership team at Turn 10. You know, when they think of the Forza brand, they want it to be about simulation, premium experiences, not cheap mobile things. You know what I mean?
Not Rand. Alan, what do you know about Miami Street? Tell us. You're the racing guy. Come on.
Well, what I know about Miami Street, where I believe the whole Forza kart rumor came from is the fact that Miami Street does, like from what I've played, it does take assets from Forza. The car models are from Forza. Some of the sky backgrounds I've seen are from Forza. That's where I think it came from. I'd imagine it's done maybe the cars that are in there are done under the same licensing deal. Other than that, I don't really know much about the project. Like Microsoft still hasn't acknowledged this.
I hate this project so much because I know nothing about it. None of my sources are talking about it. It's like this secret thing. PR won't even acknowledge that it exists. It's there on the store.
I asked someone, face to face, our studio Gobo, that's there, making a Forza project. I wasn't told anything. I didn't get an answer. It's weird. I don't know what Miami Street is supposed to be.
It drives me crazy. I hate not knowing things.
It's like they have achievements up for it. They have everything.
It drives me crazy.
It's such a weird project. It's so
angry.
bizarre.
I'm angry. I'm angry. I hate this. I don't know what it is, and it drives me crazy.
Do you think they are going to talk about this with the Andromeda? Do you think they're going to highlight this as quote unquote a showcase experience?
I hope not, because it's not that great.
Yeah, I've played it. It's okay for what
I don't get it. The thing is, right? I originally thought that it could be designed for the Surface phone, the flip tablet thing that they're working on.
Yeah.
But the thing is, right, that assumption was based on the fact that the metadata of the app says targeting Windows 10 and Andromeda OS, which is the Surface phone operating system, rumored. But I was also told that Miami Street was not made to showcase any hardware. That's the only thing I know. So if that's the case, then Miami Street makes literally no sense. It makes no sense.
So the only other thing I can think of that could potentially be true is maybe it was an idea that came from the Terry Myerson management. That's the only thing I can think of.
That might be true because I heard that the only reason Minecraft ended up on Windows Phone was because Terry Myerson forced the Minecraft team to do it.
Yeah,
so
maybe Terry Myerson went to Turn 10 and asked them to do a Forza project, and they were like, outsource it to some other studio. I can tell you for a fact that that Turn 10 want to focus on Forza Motorsport and Forza Horizon and premium experiences. And that's it. That's the way it'll stay.
I'm pretty sure Terry Myerson was also responsible for the Cavs losing Game 1 this past week. Listen, everybody blames Terry Myerson for everything.
Terry Myerson's the new Don Matrick. He gets everything.
Somebody wanted to blame Donnie D, and they're like, he doesn't work here anymore. They're like, well, how about Terry? Yeah.
It's no coincidence. I'll just say this. It's no coincidence that Terry Myerson leaves and suddenly Microsoft is buying Playground Games and opening up a studio in San Diego. That's no coincidence, buddy.
It's true. I'll give you that, but it does seem like everybody. I mean, this huge corporation with thousands of employees, one guy. He wasn't the head guy. He's just a guy.
Xbox was under Windows for the longest time. It wasn't its own thing. It wasn't until Phil got promoted, they moved Xbox underneath Windows, put it at its own thing, one of the core pillars of Microsoft, and then Meyerson left because he fucked everything up. When the mobile stuff and things, I'm just saying,
no,
it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, no, it's not a coincidence. But I mean, I want to bring that and tie it all into the leadership stuff and with the whole. And I don't want to get into what like a lot of people kind of taking. Thank you.
There it is.
Is this the Surface Phone section of the podcast?
No, this is. I want to get into the booty heard around the world, and I'm not talking about Kim Kardashian. Listen, all right. I want to talk about Matt Booty's statement. I mean, everybody kind of went off on it, and I don't want to get into the whole like what the way people interpreted it, but I mean. Sometimes I feel like there's a leadership issue, and I know Terry's gone now, so yes, there's something going on. Yeah. But what's happening over at Microsoft where, like we just said with Crackdown 3, and they're like, why'd they put that developer in? That's a good question. Why is it that when you're making the third iteration of your game, someone's still making a bad call on who's making the game? I mean, this is happening time and time again, and that's why sometimes when I see all these new studios opening, yes, I'm amped because the possibility is there. But the problem is I'm like, what if they put the wrong people in charge or the wrong developer in charge again, and we still get bubkiss? So, I mean, what do you guys think about this? Booty coming out, it wasn't necessarily he didn't say anything wrong at all.
I don't think he needed to speak at all.
That's my point. Why was he speaking?
Like you're saying something that's so commonly
You're going to see him on stage at E3.
I think Booty that interview. I think what Matt Booty said is fine. I think the interview though shouldn't have come out until next week, until we saw the Game Store announcing. I feel like it would have made more sense,
right?
Because
Alan's angling for a job at Xbox PR right now.
I am honestly. It's funny. I genuinely think because you get your story. The whole point of doing these interviews is that you want to tell a story, but you haven't actually done your story yet. You haven't done your press conference. So you do your press conference and then you do your interviews. And you can talk about the projects. Because when Matt Booty's doing this interview, he knows the projects that are coming out. He has them in the back of his mind, but he can't reference them. So he's going to say things based on what he knows. But when we see that interview this week, we don't really know what he's talking about. And that's when people misinterpret it. So that interview should have come out next week.
Alan should be hired to Xbox PR. Someone get Aaron Greenberg on the phone.
I read that interview and I had no problem with it. And
there was no problem.
I'm not the smartest guy alive, but I could read English and understand it. Some people that didn't understand what they were reading and making these videos and stuff and coming out and saying Xbox is no longer making exclusive games, single player games. I'm like, what?
But why is the head of first party games even making a comment? Why?
Because that's his initiation.
They're behind the 8 ball right now. Just go to work. Go to work, and we'll let the PR guys do the talking. Let Jez do the talking.
Well, some guy comes up, puts a mic in front of you and says, hey, I want to do an interview. You may feel like, hey, my head is swole. I'm going to do this interview. I'm going to sit and talk to this guy. And then he's going to come out with a question like that, and you're going to answer it the way you're going to answer it.
Don't get me wrong. Fonz, I totally agree with you from RDX and what you're saying tonight. There was nothing wrong with Booty's answer. Nothing. But the point is that it's going to be misconstrued, and it was said very Microsoft corporate. It was a very corporate answer.
It was basically Phil Spencer's answer.
Thank you. It was.
I mean, he sounded like Phil Spencer Jr.
Right.
Which, I mean, he did. I mean,
that makes him sound really kind of cute.
His answers about single player and like multiplayer are basically exactly how Phil Spencer believes too, which should be no surprise considering he gave Matt Booty the promotion. So his job is going to be to fulfill Phil's vision of what first party is, and it's Matt Booty's job to get all the first party studios working to that vision and stuff. So I'm interested. So Jez, is Matt gonna? I would imagine Phil is gonna be the presenter, and Matt will come up during first party stuff.
Matt Booty is going to be on stage for sure. By the way, I
when's
don't know.
Gallagher
This
coming
is
to
just
the
a
mix?
guess. They did say they'd be saying more about Gallagher's position at E3.
Gallagher's going to come out when you see like everybody wearing ponchos and like a table with a watermelon on there.
I don't get it.
Great.
You know who Gallagher?
American comedian, Jez.
He used to
smash his middle 90s. Yeah.
Watermelons.
I do think. I mean, it's what they said. They pay lip service to single players, say it's important and it's great, and there's a place for that stuff. My thing was just like you're not saying you're doing it. You're not saying you're not doing it, but then you're not saying you're doing it. So like, why even bother mentioning it at all?
Look, as a huge fan of single player games, okay, I don't care if Xbox became the platform of just multiplayer games, but you know what? Make them good multiplayer games. That's what I ask.
That's what I said in my video. I said, look, State of Decay 2. Nobody would care if it's a games as a service or whatever. If it was an amazing experience,
because look at GTA and Red Dead 2. Those are fucking games as a service, and people are like quick to like not even remember that. Yeah, and it's just the truth.
Yeah, people think that games as a service was concocted by Microsoft, to squeeze every last dime out of you. It's crazy to me. Like, it's been around for years, guys. DLC, guess what? It's games as a service. They're just pumping out these games and these DLCs and stuff for you.
Well, I do think there's a difference between a multiplayer game that gets DLC and then a game that is truly games as a service. I think there's a separation and then like what would be like? I don't even really think Call of Duty is a game as a service. Call of Duty is like just a game that comes out once a year and has regular DLC, and that's it. Like games as a service to me is Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege.
I don't understand the distinction.
PUBG.
Call of Duty has loot crates. Why is Call of Duty not games as a service, but Overwatch is?
Because it's not a continuously like updated game for years and years. And years.
I did hear Phil say that Call of Duty was a game as a service, though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. When I think of games as a service, the first thing I think of is GTA Online. 5 years since release, still getting new content. That's what I think about.
Yeah.
I think of a title that gets multi-year like support.
Destiny, fuck.
Because
that's that game. That's a game as a ripoff. That's what they should call that.
Here we go.
Mooch, do you still like Destiny?
I do.
I started playing again.
I do. I was going to invite you and Rand and Crap to get together tonight and see if we can just get a kumbaya.
I hate that game. I actually am offended that you like that game.
I know that you don't like it. You tried it with Robbie. At least you tried it. I'll give you that. Listen, and I wasn't going to jump to Destiny, but the Destiny 2 DLC in September looks good. I'm actually really excited about it.
I'm waiting for Fonz to tell me if he's jumping back in. If Fonz is jumping back in,
baby.
Are you in, Fonz?
I'm in.
See, I knew this would happen. I knew all you relapse crack addicts.
You relapse.
Hey, I haven't.
You're 100% right. But here's how I feel.
Relapse. I've been.
Go ahead, Fonz.
Let me tell you how I feel about it. Okay. What Bungie essentially did was they seem to be, because I have to put that word there, seem to be listening to their core audience, their hardcore audience. They seem to be putting some of the same stuff back in that we all love, that they took out of Destiny. Yes. Yep. Okay.
That's a ploy.
That is good progress. But here's the thing. People complaining about, I got to buy this DLC, that DLC. You ain't got to buy shit to play all this stuff they're putting back in. The stuff they're putting back in is going to be free for you to play on your copy of Destiny 2 whenever they release it.
Explain to me, please.
All the weapon slots, all the free random rolls, all that stuff, all the
stuff that was in Destiny 1.
That's what he's saying. They're putting it back in.
They're putting it back in. So they're essentially fixing your copy of Destiny 2, making it better for you. Okay. So you don't have to buy all that stuff. Now, if you want to play the DLC, guess what? You're going to have to pay for it. And I don't see a problem with that. Everybody pays for DLC.
No one's getting excited for weapon slots, Fonz. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
Fonz is excited for weapon slots.
Well, what I'm saying,
compare 3 shotguns and he went nuts.
Compare weapon slots to what you just said. Comparing that to DLC.
The weapons, no, actually, all day. If you're a hardcore Destiny guy, those weapon slots were ruined in Destiny 2, man.
Yes, they were.
It seems like they're doing that on purpose, just to have a ploy to get you back eventually.
It's the most bland, overrated game this gen. Destiny 1 too. Terrible game.
I like this. We'll all agree that, and Jess, I think you may have even said this. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it is the most satisfying shooter still.
It absolutely is.
It's pretty much all it has going for it.
But there's something satisfying about that. Look at you know what I like about Fortnite? The building, and there's 4 things: flat, awkward up in
Mooch is
like
prospecting
top.
from a
Hey,
fort
Mooch.
right now.
Right? So
There's a new big thing now in Battle Royale. Everybody's moving on from Fortnite. It's all about Realm Royale.
That game is fire. I played it
Oh my
last night.
god!
what
dude.
is Realm Royale?
It's basically like,
Paladins.
it's
made-
like World of Warcraft classes, and it's like Fortnite mixed
yeah.
together.
Gotta get with the time, gotta get with the times,
Whoa.
Mooch.
Yeah, I
Everybody.
know, man. I'm falling behind. What's going
Royale.
Hang on. What's Realm Royale? I heard World of Warcraft.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
basically you have a warrior, you have a hunter, a mage, and I think there's like a rogue type of class. And they
Hunter,
all
I
have-
think. Hunter, warrior. Yeah.
So
It looks
you're
like
telling me it's like Ultrak Valley from World of Warcraft.
just go on
Yeah.
Twitch, and it's like the
We don't
second
know
most high
that.
stream game. It's Paladins. The Paladins
Is it
developers.
on Xbox?
No,
Yeah.
it's on
No,
PC.
it's on
It's
PC.
early
It's on
access.
Yeah,
It's
Wait,
coming
is
though.
that-
I'm pretty sure it's
yeah,
coming.
it's coming on Xbox.
Yeah.
it'll be on Game Pass. soon.
Oh, it's Xbox and Switch crossplay exclusive.
Yeah.
for
No,
PlayStation.
That's Paladins, the Paladins games. This is Realm Royale, which is from
Yeah,
the
Realm
same
Royale.
developer.
High res, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's only on PC.
Right now,
Yeah,
it's only
right
on
now, yeah.
PC,
It's
but it's the
early
new
access,
thing. It's the
yeah.
new thing, dude. Everybody's streaming it.
Oh,
Everybody's
oh,
loving
okay.
it. It's gonna take down Fortnite.
Ninja was
'cause
playing it
they're
last
all-
night. So.
They're all pissed off about the Fortnite changes, so they switched to this game. And I was watching it, and I gotta admit, it seems really interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, they were
Oh my
pissed
God, it
about
looks
what
like
changes?
World of Warcraft.
That they nerf shotguns, they improve traps and all that. I don't know, a whole bunch of changes
all
in
right,
Fortnite.
all right,
I don't know.
Oh god, the only way I get kills on that game is with shotguns, so I'm screwed.
Alan's like, I'm out. I'm out. But I mean, I actually genuinely liked. Yeah, I liked Destiny. I don't get me wrong. This is not a try to get anybody to like it. I think and a lot of people say what All Day says, and Crap says it all the time to me too. He's like, well, they just took those things out just so they get you to pay for it later. Like, that's a major risk. Who at what boardroom was like, hey, let's take everything out and hope everyone sticks around and then gives us more money later? No, that doesn't work
People
in
feed off
business.
nostalgia, and bro, that happens all the time.
It was obvious what they did. They tried to cater to the casuals with Destiny 2, and it failed because casuals don't stay on a game that long. It just doesn't happen. So once the casuals were done with the game, the campaign, they were out.
That's what happened to Titanfall too. But that's a different story. But you know what? I agree
Wait
with
a
you, Frank,
second
right?
now.
I'm sorry
fine-
about that.
look, I'm fine with spending $40 on the expansion. I did it with the TTK, right? But when it came to the annual pass, that's where I kind of had to back out. I'm not paying $35.
$80 for everything and limited edition stuff. Give it to me.
I think it's 70.
80 with 60.
No, it's 40 for the DLC. There's 30 for the annual pass.
You get another
Wait,
year
hold on.
of-
But doesn't that game have a season pass? So you're telling me they're charging you for
Yep.
stuff
Pass is up.
outside of a season pass?
Season pass is up. It's like it's like a new game, man.
Season passes a year. They're doing like basically it is when the second year comes out. Same thing with Taken King. This is nothing new to
No,
anybody.
that's not. I don't mind spending $40 on the
But
expansion.
Mooch, I heard people on a certain show called Breakfast with Boom talking about how anti-consumer Rockstar was for having content on one version versus the
I
other
didn't say
version.
that.
But I heard numerous people talking about this. And
well,
yet
listen, I
everyone-
have to.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If you're close to something, you're gonna overlook things, and that's all this is. Like Mooch fucking loves Destiny, so he's willing to overlook how anti-consumer.
I
this
like
is.
to look at the dollars and cents. For $165, that's from the inception, the infancy of Destiny 2, all the way to the annual pass that comes out is $165. It comes to $6.87 a month. That's less than Game Pass, and I play it way more.
You're trying to sell me
Listen,
on it like there's some
I'm
kind
just
of-
telling you, $6 a month for a game you play a
can
lot of
save a
hours,
poor
500-600
Destiny-
hours.
You can save a
Yeah.
poor Destiny kid for
Exactly.
only $6 a month. You can.
Hey, if anybody wants to save Mooch, I'll take your $6.87. Listen, go ahead.
Mooch, let me ask you a question though, Mooch. Like,
Yeah.
coming from somebody who has to pay for out of pocket,
Right.
how did you pay? Are you going?
I
to
did.
Pay?
Yeah, first of all, every single penny out of Destiny 2 came out of my pocket, and I'm pretty sure. No, listen, let me tell you something about mooching. Nobody mooches and gives you DLC. That just doesn't happen. Okay?
I got
Mooch remembers he
Or
paid
very rarely.
time
I
he
got to
powers
do that.
up Destiny 2. He thinks to himself, "This is one I paid for, man."
This is, remember Xbox, I was telling you, this one actually came out of my pocket, and it still doesn't bother me. So, I mean,
But Mooch, you're 100% right. When you pay $60 and you put well over 200 hours into the
Yeah.
game, that's $60 it earned I mean, that was well earned. Come on, that's
like literally. There's a lot of people that I work with, and you guys know this, right? When we step out of the gaming realm for a second, they're like, "You guys still game? $60 a game? That's expensive." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "You went to 2 IMAX movies and Applebee's. That was more than that was like 3 hours. I'm getting like what 500 hours out of a $60 game. Like I always try to break it down. You know,
let's break it down real quick. So they're not expanding the game at all compared to 1 at all. If you compare the two. The first 2 DLCs with Destiny 1 were the same amount of content as the new ones in this one, right? The Warmind DLC and what was the other one?
Osiris.
Osiris
right?
Terrible.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not good.
Right.
I just recall people saying that they were done with Destiny forever after 2 was so disappointing. I'll never go back and play it. I've heard plenty of people say, and suddenly the trailer happens. I'm like, oh my god, my dick is so erect. I need Destiny.
Oh wow!
Hold on a minute. Those guys, like me included, on various podcasts, say that if they were to implement the changes that I want to see come back to Destiny, I would go back. And guess what? They did.
Right.
What change? That's all you wanted was the weapon slots, and I mean, you're gonna run through all this in about a month.
You're getting random rules with your weapons. You're getting
something that's already been there. This Xbox. Are you new to Destiny,
dude? Yeah, I am. Destiny 2 is where I started. So, but you're getting the random rolls. You're getting new supers. You're getting bows and arrows. You're getting a new raid. You're getting a new end game space.
All that is fine. That annual pass is the one that bothers me.
You can't find another game.
I know, but when I see the name Black Armory, I'm like, man, I gotta have that.
I think what Fonz is saying is what I'm saying. Same thing. You can't find a more that the action packed, like the mechanics of the shooting is just so good. It is
the gunplay and the various weapon types. There's nothing like it out there.
You know what you could never do though, Fonz? Here's what I've realized in podcasting: you can't change people on religion, politics, or destiny. That's what's happened. You just can't do it.
Hey, I'm not going to knock that it has satisfying gameplay. I'm just saying that they're anti-consumer as fuck and have been since the beginning. So
when I used to play World of Warcraft a lot back in the day, I used to have friends that used to just bash me about it all the time. It's so anti-consumer and all this stuff, and you know what? It was just fun, and I put many.
WoW's expensive too, right, Jez? I mean, WoW's not cheap.
No, you can pay for your sub time,
but it's fun.
I spent thousands of dollars on buying gold.
That's a you problem, Jez.
It is a horrible me problem. Like, because back in the day, there were like Chinese gold farmers who could like hack the game, and they I didn't have time to farm the amount of gold that you needed to farm to get to the the best gear to compete at the top level. So I used to buy gold, and after a few years, I checked through my PayPal stuff, and it was like, oh, by the way, you've spent £7,000 on gold for this game over 2 years, and I realized that I am really bad at making good life choices, and I should probably never play games ever again.
I like how you always do that, Jez. Jez is like, should I actually put this in savings or get a Surface Book too? He puts up
I still owe the bank money on my Surface Book.
I'm gonna steal one of Mooch's lines here, right? Destiny 2 is a never was.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts, man.
And he's not wrong.
That hurts. Well, listen, let's move on to this. I want to ask you guys this because I missed it. I was away when this whole reveal came out. And, I'm somebody that's always wanted to get into Fallout. And I have Fallout 4 that I've never even started yet. And I want to play it. Fallout 76 was announced, and it came to mixed reviews. The media kind of, how the media hates to hate Bethesda. So they're like, oh, we want to hate you for this, but we love you. So, it was just hard to read, right? You can't tell.
Literally my reaction.
Right? So, they do. I was watching a Polygon thing, and the guy was almost he almost combusted into 7,000 pieces. But nonetheless, what do you guys think? Is this going to be is this going to be a gas? Is this going to be a game as a service in the Fallout world?
Yep,
I think it's either going to be amazing or absolutely terrible. I don't think there's going to be any middle ground with it.
I'm leaning on terrible. I'm leaning on terrible because they're not showing anything at this point, and everything I'm hearing through the cracks is this is some sort of multiplayer game, but there's a lot of what is it? Base building and stuff within it, and I'm just not hearing anything about.
And I thought the base building, Fonz. Did you play Fallout 4, Fonz?
Yes, and I loved it.
Did you like the building aspect?
Yes, I did like it, but at least the core game was there from Fallout 3 and the previous games. I mean, it was
I thought that was the weakest part from what I was talking to people that played 80 plus hours of it. They would say to me that the building part they didn't care for, and it seemed like Fallout 76 is where they were kind of building it around.
I built a lot of bases and stuff that were really just huge. But the thing is with that game, that's not why you play Fallout. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It's not.
I'm not into all that stuff. For me, I just want to see. I want to see a Fallout 5, a traditional Fallout game. I don't want to see this, whatever this is, and that's why I'm leaning on the side of terrible.
Anybody psyched about it?
I'm not a Fallout fan. I just hope that and I think Bethesda does this. Hearing what Fawn said, I don't know, but I hope they stay true to their fan base. I hope their fan base can get into it, even if it's a different game, because people are talking about Halo and stuff like that, how they need to do something different or whatever. So you got Bethesda, and it looks like they're doing something different with Fallout.
First time I agree with Xbox.
Stay true to their fan base, and if they're able to branch out and still stay true to their core fan base, I don't think they'll have a problem, man.
Like, how many times have you played Fallout and Skyrim? Like, man, I wish somebody can help me out, or I wish I can experience this with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And I think they're trying to give that to you, and I don't really see the bad in it. You know what
That's
I mean?
a good point, all day, because those worlds are built around you, the player.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be as intricate as what we have now with the RPG and the
It might not.
got going on, and that's the problem I have with it. I want a traditional Fallout. I don't want.
Before they even try to be innovative, they need to fix that fucking engine first.
They're working on it right now. I don't think we're going to get a Fallout 5 or a Skyrim until the new engine is done.
Yeah, it's
well, that's what they do, right? They usually lead the new engine with the next Elder Scrolls.
Yes,
and then they build the next Fallout based on that engine.
On the engine, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. Now, well, let's get into it. Since I want to talk games and end the show with games. Halo.
I've got an extra topic.
Go ahead.
Right there. Earlier we were talking about Realm Royale, right? And
yes.
someone said the word World of Warcraft, and I had to look it up. So and then I started looking up Hi-Rez Studios, and I didn't really know that much about them, but they made like Smite and all those other sorts of games.
Okay.
And I also noticed they are completely independent. Would Hi-Rez with Paladins be a good pickup for Microsoft?
And Smite,
Here
right?
we go. Yeah.
Smite, Paladins, and Realm
See, something like that.
The problem is
that excites me.
The problem is they wouldn't pull Smite off of PlayStation or anything.
No.
So it wouldn't be an exclusive thing. So it would.
But they make shitload of money and use the money to fund exclusives.
All day you go, ew. It's not that I'm excited that I know I'm not getting a AAA out of that group, but the thing about it is that like right now the acquisitions that I'm aware of are games that I've known that that's already on the platform of preference. So it's like I would like to see someone maybe bring something new, and if they come up with something like that, that's a battle royale that's going to be the new leader by definition. It's exciting to a certain extent. I think that's interesting, Jez. That's something they should. They could probably get them on the cheaper right now. Once that battle royale thing hits, like Rand's saying, and it's projected to be like stocks in the late 90s, and it's going to soar, that you got a problem. Then you're going to be paying.
I'm going to DM Phil right now.
Let him know, will you?
To get that checkbook.
Say, Phil, what happens if Amazon or EA picks them up?
Let Phil know we don't want to give them
10 cents. Bloody 10 cents.
Yeah, what if 10 cents picks them up?
I know a lot of people play Smite and Paladins.
It's fun. It's fun. Paladins is fun.
I just don't see it being, really turning heads for the masses. I just don't.
If it's free,
you know what? I didn't see Fortnite turning heads, to be honest with you.
Me either.
Well, the original Fortnite that we got, that beta version, was terrible.
The world was awesome. What are you talking about?
No, I couldn't stand it, man.
The original Fortnite? It never was.
Yeah, I got a refund with that game. And the Battle Royale came out, and man, I've tried to play that. It's not for me.
It's changing the game industry, dude. Look at all these Battle Royale games coming out.
Fonz, listen, Fonz, you're not going to get home after a long day working and want to strike up Fortnite or any of these Battle Royale games. I understand that. I don't either. But I'll tell you something right now. You always mention how you play with hanging out with your son, playing that. It is fun. Like, we jam out. It is cool to hit duos. And like, the kids are, let me tell you something, they're all on it. And it's like, it is fun to do as a family.
Oh, Mooch, are you hopping around? There's no running in that game. You got to just constantly jump around. Do you do that? Yeah.
No, you have to jump around. If you don't jump around, you're dead. Or you got to build a wall fast, like stat. But I mean, like that's just like
build your stairway to heaven.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
People used to say all the time, "Oh, Call of Duty does so well because it's a real pick 'em up game. Put the controller down, 25 minutes, you're in and out. You get a little bit of a fix." I find these battle royale games are more Fortnite too, because PUBG can last quite some time. Randall will tell you that. I mean, a good match where you make it a top 5, you could be there 30 minutes easy.
Yep.
Easy.
Yeah, Salty's calling me out, say I'm just too old for those type of games. He's right. I may be too old for those.
He's right. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. I mean, because I watch my son play Fortnite.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Just amazing at it. And I'm like,
so fast, bro. So fast, so quick. The kids' reflexes are nasty. I can't.
Coke and Red Bull, bro.
There's no way.
So good. Well, all right, let's get into. Can someone tell me if this is a thing or not a thing? Halo Infinity, is this going to be something? Is this going to be all getting rid of Master Chief Collection?
It's a card-based Halo game.
Oh, come on!
It's going to be their multiplayer.
Jazz, what do you know?
It's a Surface Phone exclusive.
Yes.
It's Dave and Buster's. Dave and Buster's got one, and Chuck E. Cheese was pissed, so that's theirs, right?
The best take I've seen on this is from I think his name's Bear Claw Gaming, or I think. If I'm getting your name wrong, I'm really sorry, but he posted a series of tweets, and he said that Halo Infinity could be a rebrand of the Master Chief Collection that uses Microsoft's intelligent delivery system, where you can download whatever campaign you want. Whether you want to download just Halo 2 multiplayer, you only have to download that. You don't have to download the whole package. So like, it could be a rebrand for the Halo Master Chief Collection, and like sort of turn it into sort of platform.
Would they throw Reach in there? Would they throw Reach in there or anything else?
Yeah, they'll throw Reach in there, and they'll also put it on PC as well, and all the Halo fans on Xbox. Right?
Jez, I would agree with you, except for the fact that the name Infinity is actually the name of the ship.
Yep.
That they're on, running from Cortana right now. So
no Halo fans know that.
What happened?
I said no casual Halo fans know that.
If you played the story of Halo 5, or like to the end.
I don't remember. Halo plots aren't memorable. All right.
Okay, here's the thing. Xbox. I played through that campaign twice, and I didn't even remember that.
Why not, man?
Because it's a horrible story. It's
boring.
Fucking trash.
I can't wait for Phil to go up there and go, "You're gonna get Halo and all of it, and then it's on a PC with forced crossplay. Good luck, Xbox."
Good luck.
Because the multiplayer is red versus blue, it's the new Spartans on that ship Infinity. I'm thinking it's something like a multiplayer only game. Yeah.
So it's Surface Phone game.
You know,
I didn't even say I was hoping, but if it did come out like that, I'd be happy, man. I'm saying, give me new red packs, give me new maps. We're good. Let's go.
Here's the thing, Xbox. Who's to say that it's not a side story about the Infinity? Maybe it's a prequel. I mean, I would love an ODST type of game.
You got me interested, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
It's not gonna. I think it's a multiplayer only thing.
Yeah,
and I think that it's not gonna have any story, because there was a
Battle
rumor,
Royale, bro.
there was a rumor that Microsoft was gonna release a multiplayer only Halo spin-off type deal or whatever. So we'll have to see what it is.
Well, it's only 2 days away.
Wouldn't that split the fan base up though?
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I think it's supposed to take the place of the Master Chief Collection, though.
No, Predator, no.
Like, that's not even is that really a E3 thing though? Announcing that they fixed a 4-year-old game and they renamed it, and it's coming to PC.
I would think that they would present it in Microsoft's. Presenting sometimes isn't done really that well, but hopefully they present it as they're not going to present it as a rebranding, but more of like we're adding this. So if it ends up being like Jess said, and you can download what you want, that's a feature that is, I think that's a useful and fun feature to be able to grab the game that you want.
Xbox thing, in my opinion. Don't waste E3 space for that shit if that's the truth.
Well, I mean, Halo always does well on stage. Will that do well on stage? I don't know. I mean, Jess, does this have legs, like any of this? I mean, you're hearing that Halo makes an appearance, or Halo's ignored this year?
I have no clue, mate. I don't really have any sources on the Halo side.
Boo this man!
I'll be your source.
Me and Rand have talked about this before. I mean, on our podcast, the Xbox 2 podcast. But I think it's too early for Halo 6 right now.
Oh,
I don't know.
absolutely.
Play Halo now at David Buster's.
So like, if Halo Infinity is a game,
Hey, Fonz, you gonna bring me?
I don't know. I don't think it's a game. I don't think it's a game. I think it's a service.
I think
So
Halo Infinity is a multiplayer title. I think Halo 6 they're going to tease with the CGI trailer, and
Nice.
it'll be a 2020 title, in my opinion.
Yes.
And and this is just for fun, but there is a part of me that thinks that April Fool's joke from Sketch at 343 has some validity to it. So screw it. Halo Infinity is Halo Battle Royale. There we go.
Wow.
wow.
I mean, that is out there. That's in the wild. I mean,
Infinity
Rand,
does sound like a battle royale thing, to be honest with you.
it
so.
does.
Halo Infinity.
Fucking naked
is the
Spartans running around.
rebranding-
What the fuck?
It's the rebranding of Halo Channel. That's exactly
Hey, to
what
be honest with you, that's the only thing that I would get. And then I mean, maybe it's a free update or 20. Who knows, right? Like I don't know, free to play, and you know they're gonna try to do some crossplay bullshit. That's my only worry. Like I don't give a shit about the PC stuff, but unlike Sea of Thieves, man, give us the option to turn that shit off.
There you
You
go.
know, like
There's-
that shit's gotta
there is
be-
there's no way they're gonna force Halo.
Crap's talking
cross-play
all
on
that
people.
shit, and he's
Dude.
fucking playing on PC.
I don't play on fucking PC, dude. I ran like you guys know how I love Sea of Thieves, man. But what ruined that game for me, left the worst taste in my mouth. And Mooch was there for one of these times.
Yeah.
We ran into PC hackers, sunk our boat. We had 100 holes in their boat.
Yep.
I boarded their boat. 100 holes everywhere. No boards, no water. They just magically appear on us on our boat. They dropped our anchor from like a mile away.
A mile
Like,
away. I'm like, where
Yeah,
did this
maybe
guy
they
come from?
Maybe they were just pro, man.
They are not pro. These
This
are
was like the
amateur,
first
man.
week, Jazz. Not to say that there
Only
isn't
that,
some
but I
ninjas
just
out
watched
there.
Joe Neat. He did that little update. He goes, "Yeah, we're looking into the alleged hackers and cheaters, and rest assured, when we do look into it, they'll be dealt with." Right? And I'm like, "You guys still haven't done anything? Like seriously?" So yeah, like that. That should always be a situation where you have the option.
Yeah, see, I always, and I agree with Crap. That's the thing. Listen, to say that crossplay is going away, it's not, but have the option to toggle it off for crying out loud. I mean, we are the ones paying for Xbox Live, so what the hell? At least give us an option. I'd agree with that. You know, we didn't really get a chance to talk about it, and this show's kind of coming to a close here. It's like wherever. Jess, are you in the UK?
Yes.
Jess,
Aren't
it's
you
like
going to be an E3?
I'm not going to E3 this year.
I thought you were interviewing Ibarra.
I'm interviewing him over Skype.
I told you he's probably going to do
okay.
it over something, a phone interview or something. I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm pretty sure I saw Jess say he was in UK time.
We were gonna interview Ibarra too, but he had back surgery.
He had back surgery. No, but so
Some of you will get the joke, others won't.
let me do this real quick. I'm going to start with all day. I'll start with all day, go Fonz, and then I'll go down the crew. What are you kind of most pumped about with Sony's E3?
Death Stranding and Last of Us 2.
Okay, I would definitely. Last of Us 2 is definitely pretty. No, not very high. It's the highest for me. Fonz, what are you looking forward to the most at Sony? Because Sony's going to show games, and you know Microsoft is a bit of an enigma right now. Sony's is pretty. It's laid out with a couple surprises. What about you, Fonz?
I hope there's a surprise there. I really do. But I'm looking forward to probably Last of Us 2 the most.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get your wish. I definitely don't think Sony's going to show 4 games and be like, we're out. I think they're going to have something up there. They're just keeping it close to their chest. Rand, what about you, buddy? What are you thinking? Sony's conference. Anything to look forward to? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it. But if I had to pick one, I mean, I'm most interested in Last of Us 2, but I know Last of Us because we played like Last of Us 1, so I know what it's going to look like. So I'm going to say Death Stranding because I literally don't know what that game is.
You know, I'm glad you said that because Crap had sent me the article that leaked about the whole, you know, what Death Stranding could be, and it was a leak, so take it with a grain of salt. And this and that. I predominantly don't like
the weirdest shit I've ever read.
It's very weird. But I said to him, I said in an odd way, it was intriguing. And Crap goes, "What the?" You know, and he just started like cursing. He sounded like it was like a Kubert thing.
Look, I mean, for me, it's like Last of Us 2 is going to be great, but like we've seen a game like that, literally, you know, the sequel. So that's kind of marked down. So for me, number 1 is Death Stranding. Number 2, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yep.
Because I don't know what Ghost of Tsushima looks like either. So I want gameplay, and those two haven't shown it yet.
For some reason, Ghost, whenever, and we all haven't seen anything. I just feel like it's going to be more of a AAA, like more in depth Nihon. That's
you know what?
I think it's
I'm hoping for more of an Onimusha vibe. It's one of my favorite Capcom games outside of Resident 2, and that's what I'm hoping that they show this game turns out to be.
Or like Tenchu.
Tenchu, yeah.
Tenchu was great.
I don't like any of those games, so you guys are
you know
doing
what?
a good job.
Finding though, Kojima, I get a lot of crap for this, but Kojima's overrated, guys.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Before you get into that, did you read the article yet?
Oh,
I did.
The article? No, I didn't read the article.
About like kind of what the premise of the game and how the mechanics work, and
no.
Okay, read that first, man.
I know about the death transition.
Well, I mean, yeah, you know what? All day, listen. I know what you're saying. It's the old "don't knock it till you read it." In this case,
Don't knock it till you try it.
Right?
He's
Don't knock
pushing innovation. I mean, you've never heard of that type of stuff he's implementing.
But I mean, but Fonz does have. There is a catalog from Kojima that Fonz is saying he's not enthralled with.
If anybody can tell me what the ending was to Metal Gear Solid 2, what the fuck it means, please tell me.
All day I'll hit you up.
Tell me the beginning of Metal Gear Solid 5. What the hell was going on there?
He's in a hospital and something. I don't know.
I don't know.
We are Metal Gear fans. We don't talk about that game.
Yeah.
No, I hear
it was convoluted as fuck, man.
Crap, what are you looking forward to with Sony's E3?
Just the multi-plats, to be honest with you. Just whatever I'll be able to play best on my X. I mean, I'm already sold on Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima. I have no interest in Death Stranding. No interest in. I don't. What the hell's the other one?
You don't like The Last of Us.
The Last of Us. Yeah, I'm not in. And that's not a hater thing. I loved God of War, Detroit. Highly love those games. I do not like The Last of Us.
Crap's a fucking pony, bro.
It's not. That's not my thing. So mostly, I'm looking forward to what I'll be able to play on my X best.
So wait, So what about Death Stranding and what'd you say you were interested in? Ghost of Tsushima?
No, I'm not. I don't care about Onimusha or any of that crap. I don't like Neo or, I didn't even like. To be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of. The hell's that other game Sucker Punch did?
Infamous?
Yeah, I wasn't even a fan of those. So I mean,
no,
I'm not really.
Infamous. Sly Cooper, I think.
No, they did Infamous, and yeah, they. I mean, I like Sly Cooper back in the day, but I mean, I guess they're like over that shit. So I don't know, but yeah, definitely, and it's not a hater thing, man. I just like I said, I'm already sold on Spider-Man. Got the collector's edition pre-order. The rest, I'm not. Those aren't my thing.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. What about you, Jez? I know you don't. I know
he doesn't even have a PS4.
Doesn't. Every time I ask Jez a Sony question, he literally takes the fifth, and he's probably like, "What is that? That's an American thing." But
I don't have a PlayStation 4, so nothing. And also, it's at like 5 a.m. in the UK, so I won't be watching. Like even if I wanted to watch, I wouldn't be watching it. So
that is true.
Sony has like loads of cool games that look cool, like when I see them in trailers and stuff. But it's again, I don't have time.
Right.
Their best one is Detroit, man. The more the more time I spend with it, the better it is.
Yeah, Ron really likes Detroit.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still finishing it, but it is very good. Xbot, what are you looking for on Sony's
I
platform?
got three things. Death Stranding, I want to see what the hell that game is. All right, we
you don't.
like
You'll see, and then you still won't know what it is.
well, I want to see gameplay. I want to see how it's structured for like your character or whatnot. Of course, Spider-Man. You guys know I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I think they're going to show kind of like how the side missions will lead to various like Marvel villains in the game, which I'm excited for. And of course, Destiny 2 Year 2 will be on.
Wow! Let me bend over some more for Destiny, please, sir.
Oh, here we go.
Please.
Take it.
Alan, what about you, buddy? Anything on Sony? Because you have a PS4 now. What are you thinking?
I'll be looking forward to a good night's sleep that night because I got a flight to Seattle the next day. So
That's right. Alan is going to be coming over to the States.
I got another Forza event coming up, so good stuff happening. But to answer your question, seriously, I'm really curious to see what Death Stranding is. I'm interested in seeing what they show off for Last of Us 2 and Spider-Man as well.
Very cool. Well, listen, this has been an awesome show. We've hit the 2-hour mark. I do want to say this much.
I want to point something out real quick. Like this article from Forbes came up, and
Right.
I just had to laugh because it's called. It sure doesn't seem like there's a point to Microsoft making another Xbox. And I'm reading it,
Oh,
and
it's
it's
that
not
guy.
like yeah, it is. But here's the funny part, right? Like he says, I don't know what to make of Microsoft's quote unquote guys. We're all just here to have a good time. All shucks routine. To me, it feels more like a marketing tactic for someone who's very far behind its competition, rather than a coherent vision for the future. So I mean, you
Yeah.
can't argue with that. I hate
Microsoft doesn't even see Sony as competition. They're
Yeah,
a huge
unfortunately.
billion-dollar company.
Yeah,
This
I
whole
gotta be
Microsoft
honest.
doesn't, but
like,
Xbox
to
does.
be-
all shuck stuff. I do. I hate it. I saw somebody retweet somebody that was like, "We're all gamers. Gamers win." I swear to God, gamers don't win, right? Like, gamers win when there's competition and there's people trying to claw each other, claw their faces out and like give us good shit, right? When
Like
you got
Sega
one
versus Nintendo.
when you got one company just shrugging all the time, just saying how great the other companies are, that's not cohesive to a good environment of competition, in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, no, there's definitely
Participation
something to that.
trophies do not work.
Yeah,
Okay, let's just say
exactly.
that. Hey, Mooch, I just want to throw my 2
shucks.
cents in here.
Go ahead, buddy.
I'm excited actually for all of the games for Sony, to be quite honest. But I am going to make a prediction right now that the one more thing that we talked about this morning that is still relevant in 2018 is one of 2 games that they're gonna shock the world with. One is going to be the return of Siphon Filter. I really believe that was.
Who's gonna build it?
Nope.
Okay, hold
think
on.
It's gonna be,
Second. That's my one prediction, and the other one is I think we're going to get a resurgence of SOCOM. Yeah, that's
Who's
what
gonna build
think.
that?
I don't know. This is a great question, but it should be answered when it comes up on stage, and everyone's going to be like, you know what, Boom was right.
Yeah, but Boom, I'll tell you,
SOCOM is coming.
343 is building it.
Yes.
They probably would. Hey guys, we don't. Halo's great and all, but we really want you to build a SOCOM for Sony. That is, dude.
Help a gamer out.
I'm gonna do a video just telling people to boo that man for 10 straight minutes. Boo this man. Boo him.
Here's a prediction. I think we're gonna either see or hear about at least 3 battle royale modes in very many games out there. I think we're going to see battle royale. I don't want to see that, but I think that's coming.
Here's the thing, Fonz. I think you're going to get annoyed to the death with it this E3. And then I think what Battle Royale will do, it'll just neatly find a shift place in the modes we all play multiplayer games. You know what I mean? There's capture the flag, domination. There'll be Battle Royale. There'll be team deathmatch. It'll just get thrown in.
I'll tell you one thing. One good thing about the shift to Battle Royale is that it forces companies to use fucking dedicated servers. I'd like to see Call of Duty pull off Battle Royale for Call of Duty with peer-to-peer hosting. That ain't gonna work.
No.
So it forces them to think about their network infrastructure better. Even if you never play those games, maybe you just stick to the main Call of Duty modes. Hopefully it'll have better network infrastructure than the last 10 million Call of Duties, which all play like complete garbage.
Why don't you hit up Microsoft about State of Decay 2?
Oh, I have. They know how I feel about that. Don't you worry.
Wait, what did you say, Fonz, about State of Decay 2?
No, dedicated servers in State of Decay 2.
I know.
Yeah, there you go. If State of Decay 2 had Battle Royale mode, there you go. There's your solution.
Well, maybe one day. Well, maybe when State of Decay 3 comes out.
Yeah. Dude, Fonz is going to change his tune about Battle Royale when he's playing in Red Dead 2, and he's like, yo, I'm John Marston in Battle Royale, baby.
That is rumored to be in that.
I
think the biggest puzzle that I have...
It's only in it if you spend it. If you get the 8439 edition. If you get the regular $60 edition, it's not in there. But if you get the $100 edition, it is. But with the caveat.
You notice, Rand, I didn't argue with that, right?
Mm-hmm. I know you, Fonz.
Yeah, it's the setting you like. But hey, that collection edition was dog shit.
Or just wait for Destiny 3 in Battle Royale mode.
$100 for a collector's edition with no game. Let's go.
All day, I agree 100%. That collection, even without
they gave you a collective of Dollar Tree bargain bin items.
Yeah.
Not Dollar Tree.
Look, you get a fucking card pack, right? Of playing cards, right? Then you get 12 more signature customized cards. Like, what is this? What are you trying to do? Make paper maches? Like, what the fuck is going on?
I know.
Like a red rag that probably red rags cost $1. Okay?
Look, I thought we were gonna get a cool statue or something. No,
like, what the fuck?
You get cards,
and a puzzle. Don't forget the puzzle.
Yeah.
Puzzles are important.
No, not buying it.
I listen. I've always said this. Collector's editions just don't. They're not my thing. I don't really get it.
They're not your bag, baby.
They're not my bag, baby.
Baby.
But my whole thing is that I think that they're hurting themselves. Every collector's edition just seems to be another like just another like rib punch.
I tell you
Like,
what, I like the Spider-Man one and the God of War one. So
the God of War one was good.
Paid for.
Spider-Man one. What is in the Spider-Man one that you guys?
Well, you know what it is? They haven't shown it because it's being made by.
Hey, well, all day send me $150. There's a Mooch Collector's Edition coming out in November. I'll let you know in December. Just yeah, send 150 to my house.
Gotcha, got you, brother.
You know, Sub-Zero here. Hey, Mooch. My prediction is Splinter Cell and a reboot of Perfect Dark. Sub-Zero, we'll see, buddy.
Splinter Cell.
Who wants
Splinter Cell. That's got. Well, you know, Perfect Dark has got to be like completely rebooted.
Joanna Dark, she's trash.
Yeah,
oh, there we go.
Horrible on the 360. Horrible.
How about a Perfect Dark? How about the Perfect Dark in the vein of Tomb Raider, done by David Gallagher's San Diego studio?
That's what I'm saying. Like, reboot the shit out of it.
Yep. Let's do this.
Still gotta keep aliens though.
How about a Superman game from Rocksteady? Yeah,
that'd be nice. Yeah. That would be nice. I think the biggest puzzle is going to be what the hell is Microsoft going to do on Inside Xbox on Monday?
Oh, they're showing off an exclusive from the DayZ developer.
And then everything else is
Are they?
Yeah.
So that means it's never going to come out and eventually get canceled.
Probably.
That's correct.
All right, because that's what happened with the last one, didn't it?
No, DayZ's still coming apparently.
Oh, am I thinking of somebody else? Am I? Yeah, I'm thinking. I think I'm thinking of another game or another dude. I don't know.
I'm going to focus on Miami Street.
Oh yes,
what a great game!
Tap tap.
DLC coming.
Can you imagine they want to say, "Hey, Alan Hartman's sitting there and he's like, bring me the latest build of Forza Street," and he plays it. This is now known as Miami Street.
You're probably not wrong.
I genuinely hope it's like that. Joe, if I get a chance, I need to ask someone about it when I'm there next week. I just want to find out more.
Please find out what that is. It keeps me awake at night.
Are they not going to mention?
I'm hoping for two things when I'm visiting the guys next week. I'm hoping I find out what Miami Street is. I'm hoping I can play the Horizon 4 E3 demo. Those are the two things I'm.
So Miami Street, this Miami Street won't be mentioned at all.
You're assuming
E3
there's
week?
Horizon 4, Alan. Come on.
Oh, come on. That's on a clock.
Isn't it trying to compete with the CSR racing on
Probably
on the phones?
If Miami Street was on mobile, then yes, that's what it would be competing with.
Mobile.
They want that mobile money. I was I have started to do outros, and then you were like, "Hey, I want to read something to you guys."
I did. I just thought it was interesting because it's like
maybe this time next year we'll all be using Surface phones, and Mooch will admit that Apple sucks.
Oh, come on!
Watch your mouth, Jez.
I gotta tell you what I'm using. I gotta tell you what, Jez. I'm using. I switched to Android, right? And it sucks. It crashes all the goddamn time. It's just it's horrible.
What Android phone have you got?
I forget what the hell it is. I mean, it's not the newest.
Listen, Jez, I would never, ever try to sell you on it. But the iPhones just work. They work. I need them to work, and they work.
Yeah. They work for about 5 hours, and then you need to recharge them.
The battery sucks. I'll give you that.
Jez, you don't trust any phone. And I am comes with virus protection, bro.
I tell you what, my Windows phone worked much better than this newer Android phone.
Any of them.
Androids.
Look, if we're thinking about what we're doing at this time next year, we'll all be talking about why Crackdown 3 releasing in February of 2020 is a good idea.
No, come on, man. What's the best part of the show for all you guys that stuck around?
We're gonna be talking about, man, remember that time Crackdown 3 surprised everybody and fucking did amazing? Yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about.
Remember that time there was Crackdown 3 destroyed Days Gone in sales.
Exactly. Remember that time 3 million players, quote unquote, were on Crackdown 3 at launch?
Remember that time when State of Decay 2 had 680 million snacks eaten?
Yeah.
No.
Hey, here's a bold prediction. Microsoft's going to announce that there's been 8 million unique players on Sea of Thieves.
Yes, unique. That means if you walk by it in a store, you count.
No, I mean it means not the same player. It's unique, So
and 18 million survivors saved in State of Decay 2.
They're gonna say, and the Kraken gets the rest of its body.
Yeah.
Yes,
Megaton
update.
Yes.
Kraken's lacking.
DLC people.
I'm gonna have the. Oh, go ahead, Red.
And then the Halo 6 starts with the tomb, and it says R.I.P. Agent Locke.
No, here I put this joke on Twitter the other day, which I don't know if you guys are Simpsons fans, but Poochie was this character that everybody hated, and so they killed him off, and they just pull his cell up during the cartoon, and it's like on his way back to his home planet he dies. I was like, I saw a joke with that with Locke where it's like, on his way back to his home planet, he died, and just like that's the end of it.
You guys just made K Mega slap Rachel Maddow real quick.
Here's the thing, Xbot. You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. The extra characters in Halo 5 fuck that story up.
There's a hold on. We're talking a Halo universe. There's a place for people.
Sure, spin it off, man. But when I play Halo, I want to play Master Chief.
Put it in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to see a slap fight.
Taking names, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to see a slap fight.
Awesome, man.
First of all, that Locke would never be able to crack Master Chief's visor like that. Second, what the hell? They made us believe that it's that Master Chief turned rogue, and it's going to be you're hunting him down, and then you play as Master Chief for like 2 missions. They have a little slap fight, and then they're friends. Like, get out of here.
It was a slap fight.
It was. Terrible, just awful.
Yeah, no, well, the advertising was good.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction for next year. We're gonna be saying, remember that time Mooch hosted the Game Awards with iJustine?
Oh, thank you, everybody. That's a high note. I got an email out to her somewhere. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna replace all E3 predictions with "Remember That Time" segment next year.
Remember that time?
Yes.
Fucking member berries, bro.
Remember berries.
Remember that time where people were upset that there were women in Battlefield 5?
Remember when we didn't have games for 2 years? No, I'm out of here.
Remember when Remember when Microsoft announced it for now on exclusives are going to be Win 10, Xbox, and Switch? That was a good time.
That was a great time. So great. All right, guys, let's end the show before it goes right into E3. I will start with my guests and let them say where we can find them. Jez, thank you so much for staying up to the wee hours of the night and hanging out with us on E3 weekend. It is a big deal to have you here. Where can people find you?
Wee hours? You've been spending too much time with Alan.
I have been, right? I'm trying to get more cultural.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. Well,
I guess.
What was the question again? Where can I'm falling asleep, man. Find me. You can find me on the internet. It's a place made of tubes, and there I make people angry. So don't follow me on the internet. It's a bad idea. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Jez, always good to have you, brother. Good to have you here. Rand, thank you for coming in tonight too, buddy. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Randall Thor. No need for a plug. I appreciate coming on here, talking to you guys, as I don't get the option, the chance too much anymore. So it was a good time, and I'll remember this next year when Microsoft,
close the shop.
Right. It will end it right there as a line like Microsoft does.
We'll fill
in the blank this time next year.
Barbie game on Xbox.
Oh. You win the Barbie game.
You know what? That Barbie game.
You win the Barbie game. And we played Halo.
Oh wow, I forgot that meme.
I destroyed you.
Never play Halo. You run from me in Halo.
I destroyed you in Halo.
No,
the guy who played a
Wow.
Oh, this sounds like a challenge.
Yep. And let's stream it.
Yeah.
Stream it.
I'd like to watch it. Let's go to our next guest. Fonz, thanks for being here tonight, buddy. Awesome to have you. Where can people find you?
Jay Fonzarelli, YouTube, Twitter. And it was a pleasure, and great opinions all across the board tonight. It was nice to finally do a podcast here with Jez and Rand, of course. Rand, always a pleasure, man. Mooch, Boom, all day. All of you, man. Alan, Crep, you guys were all great tonight.
Thanks, dude.
Awesome. Thank you,
left out
Fonz.
his
What a nice chap. I like you.
Left out his
What a nice chap, he says. All day. What about you, buddy?
If all day does not do an outro like D-Batch, I don't know what to say.
I mean, if you can find me on Twitter at DBatch, I'll be reviewing the Samsung TV. It just came out. It's really nice. I really like it. You guys can find me on Xbox if you want. RDX on Tuesdays. And yeah, it's been a great show. And catch you guys next time.
Awesome. All Day is the master of impressions.
Hey, All Day, isn't it true that you gave somebody a free copy of Assassin's Creed Unity once?
No, come on, crap. You know I wouldn't do that.
Hey, how's that new Samsung TV?
Up in Canada?
Canada.
Nah, great show, Mooch. It was great.
Appreciate it, D. I mean, All Day. Good to have you here, buddy.
All D.
All day. Awesome.
All D digital.
Alan Walsh, thanks for being here, buddy, as well as Jez. You've been up in the wee hours of the morning as well, buddy. Where can people find you this week?
Yeah, so my social handles are at Beetle Comment. Website is fullthrottlemedia.co.uk. Today I got out a review for Onrush, which is a very good
Play
racing
that game. It is
Yeah.
awesome.
I can't recommend that game more than enough. Like, I give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a solid game.
Wow.
And for people who like their Xbox One X enhancements, the Xbox One X is the only console version to have 4K textures. So if you like the big 4K asset packs, Onrush has that. It looks
It runs
stunning.
at 60 frames.
Just a quick thing too. That this is funny because this studio, before they are with Codemasters, they were Evolution Studios, a Sony first party studios. They did Drive Club, but before they had that turd, they had those really good MotorStorm games. And this game,
MotorStorm
really,
was fantastic.
yes, and they really sunk a lot of time and effort into this version on the Xbox One X. They actually took full advantage of it. PS4 Pro just gets a res boost. Xbox One X has some phenomenal HDR, and it's not a traditional racing game. So you got to keep that in mind. It's like it's got a lot of different things going on for it. I played it. Holy crap. It's just so much fun. And I hate racing games that aren't Forza. This game, try it out.
It kind of looks like what is it? Twisted Metal meets, I don't know, Forza Horizon.
Sort of. MotorStorm meets Twisted Metal meets Overwatch meets.
If anybody really enjoyed the show tonight, feel free to throw me the 25-digit code anywhere you see me on social media.
I gotta say, it's a really good game, though, man. Like,
It's an
really,
amazing
really
game.
good. Yeah.
It
Amazing
does
game.
look good.
That's
Funny
why
thing
I
is,
wanted to mention it.
yeah, this could have been a Sony exclusive, but they shut that studio down. So,
Well, anyone on the panel that thinks this show's going too long, send your hate mail to crap. Let me just go ahead and say thank you. Xbot448, where can people find you this week?
You can find me on my YouTube channel. It is E3 weekend. We are kicking off tomorrow, Saturday, with the EA conference. We should be going live with next podcast at like 1:30, possibly a little bit earlier. And I'm not expecting to get a lot of sleep within the next 3 days. So let's go, people.
Nice, Xbot. We look forward to that. And I want to take a quick second just to let everybody know that today is the 1-year anniversary for Boomstick, Senor Boombastic, to be on Crossfire. Great to have you here, Boom. The show has been unbelievably better since you joined us. We welcome your expertise. We love having you on the show. So thank you so much for being here tonight.
Oh, man, thanks a lot, dude. Listen, you changed my life. I really appreciate everything that you've done. Like I said, I always tell everyone he extended his hand in friendship and literally allowed me to do something I've always wanted to do, and that's talk gaming. And, you know, I'm blessed every week to get to talk with people like we have on the panel today that have a great influence and insight into the gaming world, and I love being a part of that. So thank you so much. If anyone's interested, check out my channel, Double Barrel Gaming with Mr. Boomstick, and you can find me on Twitter at Mr. Boomstick XL.
I highly recommend you do that, folks.
Shout
You had
out
a
to
great
Boom,
show.
man.
Boom.
Great
Thanks.
show.
Shout out to Boom. Is that D? Is that D?
Boom.
That was
Oh,
great.
yeah, I'm
No.
dead right here.
D,
You
thanks a
know
lot,
what,
brother. I
Boomstick is
appreciate
so
it.
sweet.
So good. And last but certainly not least, my buddy, Crap Gamer. Crap, where can people find you this weekend?
Crap Gamer reviews.
Oh,
But hey, we are doing a M&C Mornings kickoff
Yes.
show Sunday, E3 special. It's going to be fun. We got
#fun.
Yes, stuff going on.
A lot of good stuff
A lot of
cooking.
bits and funny.
We got a couple
things.
recorded. We got a couple left on the horizon. It's going to be a good time.
Yes.
Definitely a good way to start your E3 morning for sure. M&C mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern time.
Oh, and I did a video before this show came on about how, because it's funny, just because Sony is so petty. So there's this Destiny 2 commercial on their YouTube, and they blur out Xbox controllers, and I just thought it was hilarious, right? Like they blur them out, like they refuse to admit that Xbox exists in their world, and that to me is hilarious because they did something last year with Anthem. Remember where they took the Xbox One X footage?
Yep.
And they cut out the button prompts and put in PlayStation.
They put in the PlayStation prompts.
I mean,
Yeah.
to be honest, though,
That's the
Crap.
business, bro. That's cutthroat.
Good,
they're
man.
not
but
alone.
it's-
There's about 45 million gamers who actually don't think that Microsoft exists either. So
well, I mean,
That's true.
come on. I mean, that's super petty.
Well,
on
here's the
their
thing, though.
part.
The
Like,
part that bothers me, though, is whether we say petty or not, me and Crap were talking about before, I find it interesting that Sony's cutting out the Xbox controllers and Microsoft's actually wearing Sony t-shirts. So it's a very interesting, I don't...
Hey, I
crazy
guess
world
it
we
would
live
not
in,
surprise
right?
me to see Phil on stage with a Switch or a Nintendo shirt or a PlayStation shirt. I swear it wouldn't. That's not being.
It's
That's
No,
not a
he's
joke.
crap. Listen, I'm telling you right now, he's gonna walk out on during the Treehouse event with the people from Nintendo and announce that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be a playable character in Smash. I'm telling you right now.
It's a good chance.
Wearing his Ouya t-shirt, by the way.
There's a very good chance.
No Ouya. All right.
Well, in case you guys are not ready or not, it is E3 weekend. Be ready. We'll see you guys next Friday on Crossfire at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Thank you, everybody. Thanks to the panel. Thanks to the chat. Everybody was fantastic. Enjoy your weekend.
Later.
Take care, everyone.
Peace.